Hello and welcome to Nollywood Film Club podcast. I'm Mr. C of Iroko Critic, and boy, was this a fun conversation this week. Yeah, I can't thank our speakers enough this week because this is something that it needed people who were passionate about the topic we were discussing. Um, we're speaking about the genre in romance, and it was just nice to have people who were number one connoisseurs, people who will take you all the way back. You're going to feel nostalgic listening to this. Some of these speakers listen to this space, yeah, and I mean it goes crazy places. At some point, for some reason, I will sing all the lyrics to the soundtrack of Deadly Proposal. Yeah, that happens for some reason, but yeah, it was just such were the heights. It was just such a fun conversation, to be honest. We talk about some of our favorite films in this genre. We talk about some of our least favorites. We talk about some of the tropes that we think work, some that don't work. Um, just all around such a good conversation. Honestly, I envy you as you enjoy Nollywood Film Club discussing romance in Nollywood. But today we're going to be talking about romance in Nollywood. Romance in Nollywood is the discussion of today. We will be going through essentially our favorite romance. We're going to be going through some of the worst romance. Nobody dare mention one of the greats of all times. But and then we're going to be talking about sort of the state of romance in Nollywood. The reason why I named some of these films is that so like you can get sort of a small sample size, a small sample of like the state, because I think that's where the latter conversation is going to go. Um, but okay, we're talking about our favorites, some of our favorite Nollywood romance. Who wants to start? Um,
Me, I just want to start by saying I disturbed Mr. C for like a list of what we're talking about today because I was supposed to do research. And I'd like to proudly say I didn't do squat.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Our students are proud of not doing homework. To be honest, I'm proud of them because they always be bothering
Okay.
for homework.
Um, do I have favorites? Damn. Unlike Elizabeth, who is the archive of all things Nollywood, I'm too young to have any serious memories about 90s Nollywood, so I can't really mention specific films being like, this film. I can't know that any film that have RMD and Stella Damascus is love and is wonderful. Any other film that have what's the name? Genevieve and I hate to say it, but Ramsey. It do hit sometimes. It do hit. But the 2000s were a horrific era for me, basically with romance. The pairings weren't making sense anymore. But into the 2010s, I like to give an honorable mention to Iroko, the Iroko TV app. Early Iroko gave us some of the best romances that we've had in like the age where I felt like, okay, yes, I can understand what love is. um, Films like Northeast. Um, there's this one where what's her name? Kiki Omeli was a taxi driver with Femi Jacobs. I really like that one as well. Do I have favorites though? I don't know if I have favorites. I won't lie to you, but Northeast is a fave-ish. Um, More recently is You Me Maybe. It has Adelaoye and Adedamola Adedoyin. I believe that's his name. The chemistry in that was amazing. It wasn't like a high budget film, but the storyline made sense. There was like a really nice progression. They had like the weirdest like I hate you meet cute type. He was super rude. She didn't enjoy his rudeness. But it developed into like a weird friendship into love type situation. I really enjoyed that. Another fave, and I know it's gonna come up quite a bit. is a lot of Biodun Stevens' early work on Iroko TV. Films like Ovi's Voice, all the ones that had people's names, the love do hits. Anything that have like Ace Bitters, um,
Picture perfect.
Picture Perfect do have somebody name, shift aside. Ace Bitters, somebody something, the one that this girl was pregnant. What's the name of that one, girl self? But all of I'm just saying Iroko TV sort of saved me with romance in Nollywood because the 2000s wasn't doing it for me. The Gollywood era, my God, when Ghana came into Nollywood, that wasn't an era for love. But
It
Beyonce
was an
Stevens,
offensive era.
it was an honestly, it really was. All those village prince and Ulugu Kingdom, where I come from. That song has been in my brain since 2006. And, and Jackie Appiah, what's his name? Majid Michel and Vavika,
Paprika.
they will pay for their sins because what they put us through.
Don't touch Majid, please.
I beg. You people should never start with this Majid thing because I will fight this afternoon. But Majid, Jackie Appiah, Nadia Buhari, all of them, they will pay for their sins. That romance, that romance era was horrible, but the 2000s was all right. And the 90s was the golden age, but I don't remember enough of it to speak on it.
That's very interesting because like I feel something similar to what Vanessa has said in terms of those early Genevieve and Ramsey movies. They were the beginning of my, oh my god, this is nice to watch.
Aging
Hey,
yourself out in the
this
public, I
is
love to see it,
this is
honestly.
this is nice to see, but I do have to say that I was not allowed to love at that time. I was not allowed to love like that at that time. But it was when and then something happened where we really started taking it for granted. We're like, oh, we if we have beautiful people, it's going to be okay. It's like, well, no, we actually had the good stories back then and the good characters, and that's why we really liked a bunch of stuff. And then yes, Iroka aside, like Picture Perfect is one of my faves. The other thing that I really like is Mine.
Oh yeah.
You have to cut out like the last 20 minutes or so of
It
that
doesn't
film
exist.
because like it's not part of the movie. The Greer, I have to say, is one of the most recent entries for me in terms of like favorites. I'm surprised Vanessa did not mention Breaded Live despite all of the wars we fought that day. But yes, the great. I think New Nollywood is in shambles. We'll get to that for romance. We'll get to that in a bit because we're still talking about like the things that we love so much. But yes, those are some of the things that some of my favorite films. Yeah, really, you have to go to those Iroko movies and pick up
Honestly, if
the
you
bunch for
want
them is
love,
Picture
if you like
Perfect.
love, if you are a lover of love, you are a man of love, go to Iroko TV. Just search all those their
Yeah, I mean,
2012, 2015, 2016 film.
and,
Love
and some
Boku.
of them, and they're not there again. And I think for me, when I think about Iroko TV, it makes me really sad because there was an era where we were all in the discussion, like the comment session, guys. We'll be having like 600 comments, 700 comments
That
on
was the time.
movies, especially the romance. That was the period because I don't know what's happening there now. I mean, I'm not unsubscribed. Every time Iroko will come up money from our account, I'll still free them. But I just used to console myself. Look, I'll go and look for all those 98% village films. Like I can manage that, like I can forgive anything. You put more romance inside, I'll forgive the rest of your sins. There's romance inside, let's go ahead. As long as it's not foolish. And then as long as it's in the 90s percentile. In fact, I've stopped doing 90s. If it's 94%, I'm not watching. 95 safe is it's too small. Now I look for like the high band, like the highest. I mean, no room for error, for errors. Anyway, so I want to talk about my own. I know that Vanessa said Elizabeth has a lot of blah blah blah, which is it is true, guys. I watched Mortal Inheritance. I must have been like 6, 7, right? And And there is something about watching movies then that kind of like lets it stick. And that's why people like, oh, you know so much. It's because one, we have this VHS and we watch it over and over and over again, and then we don't have like this form of overload of things that we watch. We just watch the same things over. But that was my first, let me say, that was my first experience into like romance, right? Personally, and it was, for that time, it was something that stuck with me. And even now, I think I watched it recently again. I watched Mortal Inheritance again last year, and I was blown away. And I realized that, you know what, there's something about telling romance that makes it, especially when it's relatable, right? That just makes it perfect. I think we take it for granted that romance is romance, and that's why we have so many unromantic romance or badly written, badly whatever done romance now.
I'll
And it's
tell you why
because
we
we
have
do,
badly written romance. Sorry, Elizabeth. The people who are
yeah.
writing romance now don't read romance books.
You're actually also on point, and I think it's such a great disservice, because as much as we often think that romance as a genre is easy, I think it's actually one of the hardest, because you need people to emote properly. It requires it requires your lead actors to have chemistry. It requires a lot of emotional manipulation of the audience for them to buy into that romance, and then for them to feel butterflies in their belly and curl their toes, for them to see your movie as perfect. So I mean, the 90s had romance, maybe not a lot of romance, because in the 90s there was also a lot of experiments in other genres, right? So there was thriller, there were things and whatever. But another romance that I have, which is not exactly romance like that, is a Yoruba film, is Yemi My Lover. So I don't know if I should say Yemi My Lover is part of
Yes,
if I
say
should
Yemi,
call
my
it.
lover. What do you mean?
I don't know. I don't know if Yemi My Lover is actually romance, but yeah, it is romance. But
Love
it's
is inside.
awesome too. Like, it's entertaining. Yeah, it was musical, and it was Yemi just performing magic for us, but it was fine. Then I think from the 2000s, actually the early 2000s, late 90s and early 2000s, that was when Nollywood came into its romance potential. And then we had Ego Boyo and Amaka Igwe's Keeping Faith. Guys, Keeping Faith. I think it came, I was probably in my GSS or SS. I can't remember what class. Has to be GSS or SS. I can't remember. And then the entire school, like, you go on holiday, you watch movies, then come back to school, you write down the names of the movies you've watched, and then you start recounting. Keeping Faith was that romance that changed everything. I mean, there's a way that Amaka Igwe writes her romance, right? Which is almost similar to Violated. You have this story that is woven around so many subplots. Keeping Faith was like that, right? It wasn't exactly just meet cute, conflict resolution, and then final conflict and then final resolution, whatever. It was more like backstories, meet cute, talking about other people. It was fun, and then it is relatable. I remember very well that was the era that we started calling juju jazz. That was the height of pop influence that Keeping Faith had, right? And it wasn't just the romance that it gave us between Genevieve and RMD. It was also, there was this other romance between Funlola, no, not Funlola's character. I think Bimbo Akintola's character, and I keep forgetting his name. Oh, this guy. It looks like Charles Okafor, but he's not the one. But anyways, it was romance, and it was in that time. I think that Nollywood woke up and decided that, look, Keeping Faith is so popular. Keeping Faith has gotten the market going gaga. We are going to start doing all the loves. First love, first something in love. It was
Real
Ramsey.
love. Could it be
Real
love? This is
love. It
love.
was real love. It was Ramsey and Omotola. I think she was on wheelchair or something. It was a lot of all those stories, but for me, I like the early 2000 romance, because it was in the market. That was all we were watching. Guys, I had so much fun watching. I think I remembered very well. I would go to my school hall to go watch it. My principal used to rent these movies for and just bring it for us to watch, and it was fun for us. I Promise Me Forever, Genevieve and what's this guy's name? in Shantytown.
Chidimokeme.
Yeah, Chidimokeme, Promise Me Forever. I can watch that movie like a million times. I don't care if it's not. I don't care what story it was telling. It was fun. It was nice. There was Omotola. There was Omotola and I don't know, man. Baby brain. I really can't remember a lot of the titles.
Emeka
Omotola.
Ike.
No. I really don't like Emeka Okay, guys.
Me
As in,
either, but we have to give him his props. He do inside a
yeah,
lot of
I give
romance.
him his props, but I really do not like. Yeah, fine, but I really don't want to see him on my screen in romance. Like he can act anything else. And then it was a Omotola and RMD in Sole Provider. Oh God, where she was pregnant, and then they threw out, which is almost the same storyline as Tiwa's Baggage. But that was like part and part, so it was more fleshed out. Some similar storyline. So the early 2000s had that romance. They were and the thing with the romance is that they were relatable, right? They were stories that you feel like these characters. They were not borrowed. Even when they are borrowed, they're usually grounded. I don't know how to put it. It was the Nollywoodification of Hollywood rather than the Hollywoodification of Nollywood. I don't know if you get if I'm making sense, but so
No,
you would
no,
have
I think
seen
it
that
makes sense.
trope before. Yeah, so you would have seen that trope, but the trope is so grounded in the
In Nigerian
Nigerianism and
reality. Yeah.
reality. Yeah, so you can actually, guys, from 2006 like this. Let me not even lie to you. I didn't understand what was going on. Apart from that film where Genevieve and oh my God, what's the title? Genevieve and Fred Amata and Yemi Black.
Letters to a Stranger.
Letters to a Stranger. See, I
My
think
movie.
Letters to
Oh
a
God! No,
Yeah.
Stranger.
I know. Of course, Onyeka was going to. I know. I
I,
knew.
I think
Onyeka was
Letters to a
going to.
Stranger is
Onyeka,
the only
Look, I have a lot of movies. I'm just waiting for my turn to speak.
yeah. All right. No. Okay. No. We actually get to people. All right.
Okay,
And
so
I,
maybe I should let
oh,
people talk, but I was just trying to say that we did have a lot of romance until like for me, it was until like the 2012s for me, and that was the meeting.
All right. Okay. All right. All right. Damala. Any of your
hey guys. So
faves?
first of all, you guys are versed though. There must be a whole era of films that I clearly missed. The early 2000s Iroko stuff. I don't know where I was. I was under a rock or something, but I missed a lot of some of the titles that you guys are talking about. So my first romance like experience in Nollywood would be Mortal Inheritance as well. The whole sickle cell thing I felt was very relatable. My mom suffers from sickle cell, so obviously that was like, it really hit. And Hostages, which isn't really a romance, I guess it's more of a thriller, but it had some romantic aspects to it. I think the thing that I really like about some of the early stuff is the way the love was really tested. It was put under pressure. It's like it's not just about, oh, my parents don't want it and stuff. Beyond like the parents even being agreeable to it is just like other factors that, I mean, like in Mortal Inheritance, like the woman's life is literally in hanging in the balance with this whole thing. And then there's also like the prospect of what their children will be like and stuff still hanging in there as well when they get past all the stuff from their parents and everything. Is like, will this affect our children? Will this affect our future? So the stakes always seemed kind of high. And I think that's what I really liked about the romance back then. Like, I mean, I get that like we wanted to feel the feels and everything, but for me it's like the pressure that those love stories were put on. Another notable one from, even though I can't remember the title, but it's just there's a line. It's Emeka Ike and Genevieve, and she is basically like this unattainable chick at uni, and he basically decides that, you know what, he's going to get her and stuff, and he sets out to kind of like, get her. And I remember like there's a scene where they're finally in the room and she's still kind of protesting and saying she's not sure, and the guy just looks at her and just says, right now our bodies are going to make a promise to each other. And I was like, what? Line, Jesus. Like that line has actually stayed with me stayed with me for a long time. It just, I mean, I know the guy had like obviously like dishonorable intentions and stuff, but I feel like, and watching the film I could see Genevieve's characters, like barriers being lowered when he, finally laid down one on her and everything. So That's those are some of. Then in the, I mean, I would say new Nollywood. I mean, Picture Perfect is also a favorite. That's probably one of the ones that I would say, just aside from everything, it just really had me in my feels, the music, the visual language, and the ending as well. I mean, endings are very, very important, I think. Whatever the film kind of leaves you with is what you remember. And I actually shed a tear at the end of Picture Perfect. It really struck me and everything. I think that that's probably like why a lot of the romance that I've tried to watch these days, it doesn't kind of stay with me because one, I don't feel like the stakes are that high in a lot of the new stuff. It feels like they're just telling us a story. Okay, these two meet, they don't like each other at first, then they start to like each other, then they separate for a while, and then something happens and they're back together. But there's no real high stakes as to why this romance is so, you know, um, difficult. I also like forbidden romances. So what's it called? Black Rose is another favorite of mine, even though it's not a romance story again, but it's the forbidden romance between Blossom's character and I forget the actress's name. She was in Dika's film in The Way Things Are, but I just thought that pairing as well. Her innocence with his, just demonic, for lack of a better word, demonic persona in the film. Just you really, really, I found it very, very compelling and stuff. So I think for me it's like those three things. It's like the pressure that the relationship gets put under, the stakes, and then things like forbidden love and stuff, but really forbidden, not just mommy and daddy don't want it, but what's the real taboo here and stuff. I kind of like those kinds of things. So I don't know.
All right. No, thanks, Dama. Yeah, I would say um, one of the things that is part of why we tend to remember a lot of these characters, except for some of the banger lines like you mentioned. Sometimes like these people feel like characters, like actual people, and so like you get invested in them falling in love. One of the things with in Picture Perfect is just the I can't remember what's his name, Nino's character. He just Gobe, yes. Jobe. Right. He just feels like he's gone, like it feels like he's that kind of, you meet him and I know him. I'm not thinking, oh, this is a guy who's going to fall in love with the babe. I'm just thinking about, oh, this is a guy. He's not perfect. He's rough around the edges. She's also rough around the edges a lot. And, funny enough, when I was watching it, I didn't know what I was watching. I didn't know that it was going to turn out to be sort of something romantic. But yeah, it's all these kind of things. I remember like
Sorry,
old school when we
Bolanle
used to.
Nolowo deserves to be in all the romances. I genuinely, beyond Picture Perfect.
I agree.
There's this film on Iroko. It's what's it called? The Intervention with this babe. What's her name?
Drop
Chelsea
names.
Chelsea
Eze.
Lizzie.
Thank
Chelsea,
you.
yeah.
That film, I was like,
The
this is
intervention.
love.
Okay,
I
I'm
didn't like
putting
the
them
romance a
to.
lot,
I
but I
didn't
liked
like it,
Nina.
but Bola Nolowo, he was selling it. He sold it. I don't know why. I don't know why ever since Picture Perfect. Maybe it's because he did such a great job. They've sort
Yeah,
of pushed him into this thing where it's like
it is now thoughts
he's
now.
the reserved tout slash street guy, and he's not. This man
Mm.
is a man of love.
The funny
Like
thing is that before
no,
Picture Perfect, he used to be
Yeah.
a lover boy.
he
Oh, he
was
was
a man of love.
American lover boy. That was
Yes,
all he played.
man
Man
of
love love.
love, and he did
I
it.
think
This guys.
This guy.
it's typecasting anyways, and that's what
Yeah.
Hollywood does best.
It's so
Yeah,
annoying because it's like I need Bolanle Nolowo on my screen falling in love with somebody. Somebody do it for me.
one thing I also remember, like back from like I don't know whether you guys are too young to remember these days, but back in my days, and there's a type of romance that it was sort of like a cautionary tale. I guess it was used as a cautionary tale, but like Blood Oaths used to be a huge blood. Yeah, do people
It
remember
was so
Blood Oaths?
silly. My God.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, people Blood Oath can't bring me to prick your
Bring your
hand,
hand,
bring your hand.
yes,
Hey,
yes,
Then you will
yes,
not
yes,
rub the
yes.
blood together. I'm sorry, that thing was so disgusting. Can they not?
That was a movie with
It was
I
that was a
can't lie.
movie
Every
with
time
that was
every
Davido.
time I
belief
saw
love
that
now. That
thing,
was belief love. Commitment.
disease, disease, disease,
hey,
disease.
There was a movie with Genevieve and
She's a good
Noah where
man.
Genevieve died.
Yeah, that's the original ride or die. That's the original ride or die.
If you leave me, you go mad.
If you don't ride,
commitment.
if you don't ride with me, you die. That's it.
That's just craziness.
Yeah,
that's love.
True. All right, okay.
That's Nollywood love.
Which is great because it ties into another one of my favorites, which is Sylvia. Because
that's
I like Sylvia. Yes,
I love Sylvia so much, and it's
That's
again,
big. If you leave me, you die.
it's the stakes, right? It's like if you break this love relationship that we have, it's not even about like just dying. It's about like I will ruin your life. I'll ruin your
and
life.
that is a very Nigerian romantic trope.
You get like
Yeah.
I really want to
True.
see a film. I want to see a film where like so like horror films, right? For example, like I'm always like, what are Nigerians really scared of? Because I'm sorry, but ghouls and goblins and stuff like that, NECA does not scare me at all. NECA the Pretty Seven doesn't scare me at all. Do you get? Like I just see her as this figure that if she appears, I'll just bind her with the blood of Jesus. But what really scares me is the idea that somebody could love me so much that like sleeping with the enemy or something, I'll just come home and the towels that I scattered, I'll just see them arranged. And I'll just be like, oh shit, like this person is here. I really want to see like a stalker film. Like somebody trying to ruin somebody's life because they love them that much. That's
No,
what that's
legit.
There's a movie called
There's a
Stalker,
movie on Netflix, but it's not really good. It's not
There's
really
a
good.
Nollywood movie called Stalker, made by the woman that was formerly on Lagos, Real Housewives of Lagos, the woman that was formerly married to the billionaire.
No, see, that was probably bad. But you guys remember that one with Ramsey, where he went,
Loverboy. I know that movie because that was the movie that let me learn that there are crazy stalkers, and it was old. Before I left Nigeria, I saw that movie. It was like early 2000s, and he kidnapped his ex who was getting married. Yes, Loverboy.
And then he offered that poison and knife, and it was like,
yes. It was like it was like, oh, me and you are going to die together because the cops are already, they figured out that it was him and everything. It was about to be the end. It took this, I still remember that scene. I think it was acid. It was like, you take the acid, me take the acid, we're going to die together. And I was just like, absolutely not.
That movie.
Okay. Let me bring in some couple of people who have been waiting. Even
I've been waiting. I've been waiting.
Tell us. It's yours gonna go. Go on, Oyinka.
Oh, I thought you were going to give to somebody who came before me. Oh, it's my turn for real?
Yes, yeah. Tell us some of your faves,
okay.
Your romantic faves.
I have a lot of faves, okay. Now, when I say romance, I mean all types of anything that can be sort of qualified as romance. Not just these enemy to lover tropes. This is now, the romance thing is now kind of sort of slightly annoying because now everybody is doing a romance trope and not exactly using the trope. They're just doing formula 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm just like, okay, stop this, please. We need to stop selling books on just romance tropes. Just say it's a romance story and tell me what the story plot is. But that's just my own personal annoyance. But my first thing that I can remember is what's this movie? Oh snap! Iniedo's first movie ever.
Vanessa.
Yeah, with Kenneth
calling my name.
With Kenneth Okonkwo. Yes. What apart is like the perfect Cinderella story.
So much.
I love it so much. It is a classic. Y'all, you should watch it. It was wonderful. Liz Benson was wonderful. Everything was wonderful. I still remember it. Like, it is stuck in my mind. Like, oh, What's the Part was wonderful. Also, there was the romance drama. Oh my gosh. I didn't exactly watch Behind Closed Door, but I remember somebody telling me the entire story of Behind Closed Door. I also watched another movie. There was the coupling of RMD with Stella Damascus. And whenever it's RMD with Stella Damascus, you just know that there is some sort of kind of close. It's not illicit, but something that morally that they shouldn't necessarily be doing. Or like just those romance dramas that you remember. The one with also RMD and Stephanie Okereke, where she was married to his father, but the father actually never slept with her, but it was love. It was this aching sort of thing. There was another movie with Omotola Jolade and was Desmond Elliott? I think it's Desmond. Where Omotola turned out to be a ghost that came to help the parents, the father and the son have a good relationship. But the father and the son were also fighting for our love. I remember that.
I know that
Nollywood
one.
is
I know that one. I
something
know that
so.
one.
I'm just yeah, I'm telling you, these are old stories. I still remember them. I remember another it has, I don't think it's particularly romance, but it has a romance drama. And I remember it because Liz Benson was amazing in this movie. It turns out she was the plotter behind the movie all the time. But that one was just, it had romance in it. In that movie, a child and her husband's child, former child, were falling in love, right? And the husband dies, and there's other people that dies, and she kills a lot of people, but we know the end. But it was to end, it was to stop that. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I remember all these things. Eji Owuro, the song Ife Bi Eji Owuro, what's it called? Eji Owuro, right? Elizabeth.
I can't remember, but I know the name. I know the song. I just can't remember the name of it.
I think it's Eji Owuro. Yeah, Eji Owuro.
It's
Oh my!
yes,
Desmond
yes,
Elliott was in this Yoruba movie, and I think it
yes,
was
yes. And
Bimbo
Bimbo
something.
Shi.
Yes, it
Yeah,
was
yes, Bimbo Shi.
that movie was
It was one of the best.
amazing.
It's still one of the best romance, guys.
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
yes, it is
And
one
that
of the
song
best
was a
romance,
hit.
and it's also a tragic. It's also kind of like, a rom. It's the girl falls in love with the youth copper.
That's Palito. That's Palito. What's the name? Give me name.
Eji
She
Owuro.
fell in love twice. Eji Owuro.
Yeah, she fell in love twice. Oh my God, the stories that they used to write. Like, that's the thing. And none of this, not everything. I even remember even the early 2000s. Yes, in the 2000s, I would say mid 2000s, like 2009, late 2000s. Like, yeah, a lot of the stories definitely got regurgitated in a way, but that's the thing about like capitalistic movie. Something the same thing also happened in Hollywood. Like this, they will do one successful movie, they do Blackberry Babes, and then everybody copies it, and it
Oh
becomes
my
horrible.
God. And then we
Do
have
you
all
watch
the babes.
Boycotters? Please, did
Yes, and it
anybody
becomes
watch
horrible.
Boycotters?
It's the same thing that happens in it's the same thing that happens all over every film industry in every something. So because they want to make money, let's remember this is the capitalistic adventure. But like those things are wonderful. People remember those stories. Yes. Did the production always do well? No. Was there tropes? Can you tell where the story is going? Yes, of course. There's nothing new under the sun. There's literally nothing new under the sun. You cannot wow me. I may think it's going one way and you make it go another way, but make sure it makes sense. But also, just don't write rote formula. At least have something in your story to make it, or have an actor that can be very charming that you forget that you forget all the weaknesses of the story. I don't know. But I'm just saying Nollywood has romance stories. And their
Hard.
romance stories add romance stories. Or and even I will have to say, even like in the 2010s, what's her name, Ruth Caddy, I still in some parts of me think Ruth Caddy can actually be a very brilliant writer, and many times her brilliant writing has shown out. Like some of the characters that she writes is pretty nice and pretty something and pretty rooted in Nigerianness, and sometimes, and I'm just
Ruth deserves her flowers.
like Ruth Caddy. Like, have you seen Circle of Friends?
With Kadiri, right? I think it's what you mean with Kadiri. But I
Ruth
don't know.
Caddy.
Maybe you guys are on like cool name basis. I don't know. The full name is Kadiri, right? Ruth Kadiri.
Please, you have to free Oyinko. She never gets anybody's name right, which is fine.
Oh my God. I know, right? That's my, I swear, it's knowing a lot of things. And then when I need it, I know in the back of my mind, for some reason, my computer calculation is not bringing it up. I'm sorry, I have a human brain. My bad. um, Rukadiri. Emma Binu. I've never
Yeah.
actually pronounced her name outright, so forgive me. Ruth Kadiri. She's actually like, I saw ladies what? Well, the first movie like 2010, and that's where the first time I ever saw Alex Okubo, and I hated Alex Okubo, but now I like Alex Okubo. I hated him because I was just like, you're just a pretty boy in this movie. You weren't acting. You were not acting. He was not acting in that movie. That movie was he was horrendous, horrendous in that movie. But I like. I think he's found his niche, and I think he's doing well now. Um, Ladies something. There was some parts of it that were brilliant, and there were some parts of it that were bad. But Circle of Friends, she wrote that thing very well. Even sometimes she writes pretty good. Like,
I didn't like Circle of Friends. So.
I liked Circle of Friends. I'm so sorry, but I liked Circle of Friends. It's not necessarily like a romance, but I liked that there were almost all characters there were flawed in a way, except for the guy. And we know the guy in real life as an actor, as a human being, is flawed, but whatever. But it was all those things. We have stories. We can tell the stories. We can do these things if we care about characters and not necessarily. And I would still remember them. I remember Loverboy. I can tell you the plot of so many dramatic stories, all those things. I can still remember them. I like Nollywood can do romance. Nollywood can even do the tragic separation romance, the thing that you go for, like, oh my God, I want them to be together. All that, we can do it. And in fact, we used to do it very, very well. Maybe we're not good at doing what's it called? Tropey American something. But we're
Yeah.
good at doing stories where
Sorry,
you can root
what's
for the
the?
lovers.
Yeah,
Does
I
anybody
don't need
remember this?
Nollywood to do rom-coms. I actually need Nollywood to do me romantic drama. Give
Romance.
me
Yes,
angst.
romantic
Give
drama.
me
Yes.
angst. Give me
Yeah.
longing.
To be honest, we don't even have to do rom-com. We
Oh,
have not.
guys,
Yes,
I don't.
because the
It
Yes.
girl
doesn't have to
crosses
be.
your
Yeah.
head
I
with the
don't.
Yeah.
rum.
Okay.
Wait, guys. We can also do rom com. We can. We need to
Why?
find our
Which one?
footing.
Which
It's
one?
We need to
okay.
find
It's
our
okay. It's pretty
footing.
good.
Which
Which
one? The
one?
cup
Which one
usually
now?
disrupts the
It's
rum from
it's
ramen.
okay. It's
I'm
not
telling
bad now,
you.
guys.
We will find our footing.
Uh,
You have to do some bad ones first to find your footing. We will find our
no,
footing
no.
at some point.
This
Okay.
is what we're
Sorry.
doing.
Does
Oh,
And
that's
when
what
anybody
we
Nollywood
find our
is doing.
footing, I
Nollywood is
will be
finding
watching
footing.
it. I may not be watching the steps to it, but I will watch when we find our footing. Okay.
All right. Okay.
That's
sorry?
Let's get
Does
to a couple of other
okay.
speakers. Some people
yeah.
have been waiting. All right. Five, please go on. And then Chums, you'll be next.
All right. Hi, everyone.
Hi. Hello.
Okay, so I went all the way back, right, to old Nollywood to find out my favorite or bring back my favorite romances. So my first one is Critical Decision, RMD and Genevieve with Mike Azuronia and Stephanie, where Mike is in a wheelchair and Genevieve is his girlfriend, and she meets RMD's character, and he's an artist, he's a millionaire artist, and she poses nude for him to, what's the right word, to get money for Mike's
Yes.
I
surgery,
remember that movie.
right? That film stayed with me. Like, there are some films that have stayed with me from when I watched it when I was younger, and this is one of the first ones. I think it had like 3 parts. It was quite long, but I felt like, for me, RMD's character started out so cocky, so annoying, and then when Jackie Genevieve's character is thrown away from the church, thrown away from Mike's house, thrown away from everywhere because they found out that she posed for Ray, he takes her in, they build a relationship, he becomes softer. And let me tell you what really held me. That moment where Jackie is just wallowing in her sadness, she's just so upset about everything. And Ray just goes into a monologue and he's like, look at me, Jackie, I love you. And I was like, oh, Ray, I really understand where you're coming from. And afterwards, Jackie was like, let me just get to know Ray. Let me just get to know him. They started to do the montage. He cooked for her. She was dancing around the pool. For me, romance has to come with an element of level up. Mike was all nasty and putting his anger out on Jackie. Now, Jackie was chilling in the pool, being cooked for. That's all I'm saying. So that was my first one. My second one, Super Love, Ramsey Noah and Genevieve. That's my second one.
Yes.
I love that one. A proper Cinderella story. Ramsey is the prince, and I like the little conversations they had in the forest. I had to rewatch it to be sure that this was my second one. So it was kind of like they had this kind of thing. I wrote a few notes here, but it was kind of like, they saw each other. They had meaningful conversations. Genevieve's character said something along the lines of, if the prince was smart, he would choose his partner based on his heart. And I was like, oh, Genevieve, tell him something. And he stood with Ramsey. And Ramsey was like, no, this is the person I'm trying to marry. And they tried to hide her in the forest. And he sent somebody out to find her. And he's about to get married. And she comes at the end. And he stops the wedding. And I'm like, yes! I loved it. So yeah, Super Love was amazing. Third one, Bursting Out, Majid Michelle and Genevieve. But the reason why I like this film, I can't remember the film a lot, but what stayed with me was the spicy sex scene. Oh, it was amazing.
Michelle was on to something back then.
Okay.
That's the time when
Be
Michelle used to
honest
do
with
film.
me.
Now I don't really know.
What do you say?
Me, I didn't say anything. No, I didn't.
What do you mean, Vanessa? Please, not today.
Did I say anything? Did anybody hear me say anything?
Anyway, Busting Out.
I like Busting Out.
Go back for a refresher because Majid was really making, the kiss was everything.
Don't go back for it. Don't go back for a refresher.
Don't mind me. Me, I'm trying to say,
it.
if Majid has one hater, it's me. So me.
Really?
Yes.
Vanessa. Please let me finish because my heart is already broken. Okay, coming up, the next one, Superstar, because I love me, Hassani. Apart from the fact that Hassani hid about his health state, I would love for you to really disclose that. Hassani and Queen, they did their thing. I love the cutting process. Another one that I find that was really romantic is this movie, The Breakup. Okay, Genevieve, Ramsey, Rita, Pat Atta, all the big guns were in there. Yes, it's about a breakup, right? But it was kind of like a two can play that game kind of thing. And at the end of the day, like Ramsey starts playing Genevieve's game and they come back together in the third part. There were 3 movies for that. And I was held with each and every film. And at the end, she meets him in the house and she's like, why are you not picking up my calls? And he's like, you weren't picking up my calls. And she's like, yes, but you're not supposed to do that. And he's like, I can do whatever I want. And then there's just this tension with their eyes and it just ends with a kiss. And I'm like, what? Ramsey and Genevieve, I love them together. All right. My next one is Soken. I don't know how many people agree with this one. I had many reasons for this. No? Okay. For me, let me tell you why. What do you say?
We vehemently disagree as a society.
Okay. Wait, let me say my part. Vanessa has already broken my heart. I just want to say everything before my heart is broken up even more. For me, let me tell you what made me love this a lot. First of all, culture. First of all, the vibe, how his Soken was. I don't know. She was really just giving me that energy of a woman that was doing her own thing and minding her own business. And love found her when she was least expecting it. And you don't follow love based on what looks right, but what feels right. And that's what I liked about it. Is that funny? I'm just saying, like, so it's okay for me. Plus her apartments, her dressing, where they were going, it really was my vibe.
But that's not love.
I know, but really, it just goes to show that we had to figure out.
Sorry. Look, romance can be caused by anything. Okay, there are many romantic movies that if we look at it truly, we should be asking, why is this romance? This is tragedy.
Yes,
This is
let's come to
horrible.
that later.
It's
Yes.
whether the
Let
magic
me
will
just say
still
my last
be
one. Let's
long
just say
enough
Or
my
to
some
last
people
one.
will
invest.
go for it.
Yeah.
Because
Go
yes,
on, go on.
you guys are making that point, and you're right. But yeah, it just goes to show that as we start to pass through into different years and different eras, we start to lose what the real essence of romance was in a love story in Nollywood. Anyway, my last one is Flower Girl. Okay, let me tell you why. First of all, I just love those tropes. No, don't cry. No, I'm just going to keep quiet because you all are going to break my heart. Flower Girl, why did I like it? I don't know, it was fun, right? It was just like, boy meets girl, we're doing this, we're
I
doing
agree
that.
with you, fine.
What do you say? Thank you. Please. Boy meets girl, he's a movie star, she's a flower shop owner. It was just cute. I liked it. Then, I always like that story trope of she's moving from one nasty guy to a guy who loves her. So that's why I liked it. But is that really romance? I don't know. I'm leaving it up to you guys. Thank you so much.
We love
Thanks,
you.
fine.
Bye.
You know
Thank
what,
you,
like,
bye.
Love you.
because actually Atas has been dropping out. Chums, you were supposed to get next, but Atas was here first actually, but she's just been dropping off because of bad network.
It's
And
not
she
bad
also
network,
recommended.
it's Twitter. It's not even bad.
Okay, yeah, oh, yeah, it's true,
And don't say
yes.
Flower Girl, please. It's enough. Let's move on from that.
Yes, no,
Let's move
I was
on
gonna
from
bring
our
you in because
past.
you brought. I need to remind. I need to remind the world that you brought Flower Girl to a Nollywood
Mistakes
Film
have been
Club
made
to
in this
discuss.
club, I think, by everyone, and we just need to be forgiven and grow, and
Wow.
that's what's important here. Okay.
All right. Anyway, tell us some of your
I mean,
faves if Flower Girl is
guy,
not part
he
of
still
them.
likes the movie that I will not name despite watching it 3 times. I don't even know how he can talk, but let's move on from that for now. Okay. All right. Let's be kind, Mr. C. Thoughtful. Like I always am. So like everybody else, actually, I think Erica TV is kind of where Nollywood's romance peaked for me. Also I think the last romance movie that I watched and successfully like enjoyed and loved also was Biogen Stevens. Actually, no, it was The Griot. So The Griot was like the last real romance Nollywood movie where it's like, okay, there's chemistry, the characters are actually growing, and that is actually the hallmark of romance. It's just seeing the way in which love like changes people or propels them into doing like whatever lovely things. And so like The Griot, we kind of see his growth where he becomes more outspoken in the end, even though, it's rushed. But so I think that was probably one of the more prominent ones recently. But before that, Sobeys Mystic. So like everybody, like Ehis Bitters was great. And actually that was the first one I was gonna go with. But I think I actually liked Sobeys Mystic a little bit more, also by Odo Stevens. And that one I could go on forever. And what I really liked about it was, first of all, Kunle Remy showed up to work. I think that's one of the few movies I've seen him where he's not like just coasting on being pretty. And so in that movie, I think everybody does like a great job of being cohesive and having chemistry. And the story is really, really nice. And I'm trying to avoid spoilers because I feel like Sobeys Mystic is not a movie a lot of people have seen, but you should go watch it. And he's bitter.
What's the name of that movie? What?
Sobeys Mystic. It's on Iroko.
It's funny I missed that one for some reason. All right, go on.
But yeah, so like it has, a good twist, a good turn, lots of like cuteness and love. But like Ehis Bitters was also really great. But yeah, no, so for right now though, the Griot is definitely winning for me. Minus the whole murder at the end. Let's ignore that. And like their whole love story and the quietness of it and the cuteness of it, like for them, like falling in love, they didn't have a lot of conflict in their actual relationship. All of the conflict came from like outside. And I think I really enjoyed that because love in Nollywood literally has to defeat like 30 obstacles. Like your mother-in-law is a witch and your children die and like you can't give birth because you had an abortion 10 years ago. So like it was just such a sweet in the Griot, like their whole romance in the Griot was just such like sweet and soft and straight to the point, like, shy guy likes this girl. They're friends. Even prior to dating, their relationship was cute and sweet. And so that probably is my favorite right now.
All right. No, thanks, Atas.
Sorry, I just want
Chums.
to recommend again. Everybody go and watch all the Biodun Stevie films that start with somebody's name.
In early 2020, please. Like 2020 to like, I think 18 is when 2010 to like 2018 is where we kind of peaked in Rome.
Yes, all the one that
Yeah,
start with
yeah,
people's name.
yeah, the
Just
one
look
with
for
people's
name.
names. Yes, yes, they were the
That's
last
the
Even The
great
yeah.
Visit
ones. No
from
offense,
2014.
guys.
I know I hate The Visit. No, I don't like The
What?
Visit as a movie.
Yeah, I
How are
hate
you
it
The
gonna
too.
concept of The
recommend something
Visit,
you
I
hate?
don't like that movie. But Blossom and Incest chemistry in that movie single-handedly saved the entire movie. Like, I will watch that movie a third time because I've watched it twice, and I will not like most of the time that I spend watching that movie, but I would watch it to just see Blossom and Insei just have their relationship again, as chaotic as it was, because their chemistry was so intense the entire film.
Oh yeah, I remember. What I remember most about that film is somebody's tattoo being like somebody drew it on their body, but that's fine.
Is that
Chums.
what you're talking about? We're talking about love.
I like that film.
Chums, please tell us some of your
Okay.
faves.
Okay, so I have really like two faves. Um, Games Women Play is one of my all-time favorite. Mainly because there's everybody in that movie had their own story, and what you think the movie would be about, it's just like it's nothing that you could expect. Like so that movie is great. It's with Genevieve, Omotola, Stella, Desmond, and Zach as well. So what else? Also, Unfinished Business with Desmond and Genevieve. I really like that movie, mainly because the chemistry between them was so on point in that movie, and it's so believable. It was kind of like a story of forbidden love. Um, but they found each other. They pretty much found each other with themselves. Either way, if they would go their separate ways, they would find each other again. So that was pretty much like the moral of that story is like, if it's real love, it'll come back to you, kind of thing. So, and what I've noticed in Nollywood romance, correct me if you guys think differently, but like school cult romance movies, it's as if they are phasing out or has completely phased out. But that's just a noticing thing I've noticed about Nollywood romance. It used to be very heavy within the early
The
2000s.
Oge Toronto era.
Also DOB,
In the
Mike
Tonto
Egboroyin.
era, yeah.
Yeah.
We had Far From Home.
See,
But that's
see, if I should grab
No,
you,
please.
It did
if
not
I should
Far
happen.
From
grab
Home
you
is not
It
to
That
did
fake
one
not
is
romantic.
happen.
that one is not what I'm talking about.
God.
No. No, but that was definitely the Tonto era, where there's so much jealousy and a lot of action going on. I actually kind of miss those days of watching those type of movies. But anyways, that's my own spill.
All right, thanks, Chums. Richard, do you have movies, romantic movies you want to? It's some of your
Oh yeah,
favorite ones.
I haven't really watched much of Nollywood, but my first experience with romance in Nollywood was Final Whistle. I believe it was released around 20, I think 2000, 2001. It featured Sento B and one fair lady. I don't remember her name, and I think Funke Akindele, she played a maid in the story in the movie. So the storyline was Sentobi was a very rich guy, and I think he had a few maids in his house. So he heard the lady he fell in love with. He heard her singing. So I that was my first experience with romance in Nollywood. I think I was very young, but I could understand. Okay, this is what love is. This is what falling in love is. And the thing that actually stuck with me, in that movie was the song they sang, because at the end of the day, when Sentobi realized, this lady he fell in love with was actually a very good singer. I think he financed her music career, and I think at the end of the movie they went to the studio to sing, and it was actually the song that has stuck with me for how many years now? For like 23 years now. So that was actually my first and the only romance movie that I've enjoyed and that I love so much in Nollywood right now. I've seen others, but Final Whistle. I don't know if anybody has seen Final Whistle, but Final Whistle has it's still the best to me.
I've
So
literally been singing the song
I
for
miss
yeah,
when
like
yeah,
the
Nollywood
oh,
used to
last
do
5 minutes.
songs. I literally miss when Nollywood used to do songs and like they'll go
yeah,
to the studio and
Oh, I
record
love that
exactly.
song.
original
Exactly.
music.
I
They have
think I still
soundtrack, but they
remember.
actually sang this together.
I think I
Romance.
still remember the song. I think it goes, I've been thinking about you. I have searched for you everywhere. Something like that.
Yes, I
Very,
know the one I
very
was thinking.
basic.
Romance.
And
That,
Yes,
don't you notice when they
return.
sang? Hold on, when they were like, let's meet like two ways and
exactly.
promise never to
Yeah,
part.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Romance.
It was
Love.
for me. It was final with so yeah.
I can't lie to you. The song that sticks in my head is, and it will embarrass so many people here. Where like how accurate the lyrics are stuck to my head is "Deadly Proposal." I can sing the
God.
soundtrack to "Love Can Hurt You, Disappoint You, Love Can Make You Cry." It hurts so bad when your loved one breaks your heart. Oh 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 oh. Girl, he said he'll never leave you. Girl, he said he was gonna marry you. You were dreaming, waiting for him, but he returned. But he turned around like a fool. Oh, girl, how
Oh
can you forgive him after all you've gone through? You still love him. You want to have him to yourself. You want to kiss him, but
I feel
his
like Will
kiss
Curtis
is
was the one writing the
unfitting.
songs, and it just
Anyway,
needs to come
so
now.
obviously, I obviously,
Yeah,
yeah,
just just tell
that song
us.
stuck in my
Yeah,
head.
okay.
We did miss,
Yeah,
we did miss
so
singing our songs. Yeah.
yeah. Speaking of just on this segue to romance, this is a romantic film. But like I don't know if I'm mixing it up. But does anybody remember everybody say ja ja ja? Everybody say
It is a
go go.
romantic film.
Yes,
Jamming
yeah,
together, Django,
Django, Django
Django
is
is the
the king
king
of
of
the
the
jungle.
jungle.
In case she was standing by her man.
Yeah,
She was standing by
while
her
he
man.
was doing a lot of
Crying,
violence,
crying.
some
She was
crimes.
here for his rights and his wrongs.
Yeah. I remember
That
that.
was love.
But yeah, actually, just to reiterate something that Damla said, there was a lot of things where, like, our love is like you couldn't mess. If he found a good person, you shouldn't mess it up. If
Yeah.
not, there were
There will
going to
be
be consequences.
consequences.
The Deadly Proposal I'm singing, I remember there was yeah, it had consequences. He messed with their love, and there were consequences. There's one I remember with RMD and Jim Ike. I can't remember the name. Where Jim Ike, I think, was playing RMD's brother, but Jim Ike went to sleep with RMD's wife, and then RMD went to put broom for Jim Ike to cross or match. I can't remember, and Jim Ike went what mad. It was a two-story. I
I'm
can't
sorry, the
remember.
broom crossing broom thing I loved it so
Yeah.
much.
So there was that trope too in Yoruba movies, and I think it
Yes,
was one
now.
of Tunde Kelani's Thunderbolt. I thought it
Mm-hmm.
was okay. Thinking now, I think it's romance too, but it's sort of and it started like
Yes,
that. It was
Thunderbolt.
intertidal.
Magun had touches of
Yes,
romance.
Mago
Yeah.
was like that. Yes, and but I also like that it ended as romance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we have stories like this, right? That are uniquely, let me use the word uniquely Nigerian experience, right? It's crazy, it's dark, it's twisted, but
But that is
it's also
Nigerian love.
romance.
Yeah,
No,
the
honestly,
actually,
no, for real. I think maybe we've not gotten there, but I think what's missing is we had a way that was us. We had a type of love that was Nigerian love. Do you get me? Like this thing about being so tied to someone, and if they mess up, that's it. It's only Nigerians that we are vindictive. I'm sorry, we do like wahala. We like it. Why can't our love stories just have that? Like honestly, this is not oibo sappy sappy. As much as sappy love is sweet, that is not we are an intense people. Our love story should just be as intense, and they used to be. They used to be so intense. You could feel every drop of angst, of pain, of anger, of desperation that these people used to feel. Even when they are running across Babbage, you can feel the love.
And I
So
think that's what I like about stories like that, in which they will show you how they are in love, how they fell in love, and then the moments where they made that pact, that deadly whatever pact, or the moments where one of them got so jealous. I'm like, okay, in a bit to I love her so much, I'm going to put juju on her body so that any man who sleeps with her dies, right? Like it has to be some kind of insane love that pushes you to do something like that. But the thing is, they will show us how they really love, like they meet cute, how they fell in love, how one person got so jaded or jealous and did this nasty thing, and then they will now show us another person who loved her so much, was the one that fixed this shit for her. It's crazy, but I mean, it's romance.
Yeah, but like the
love.
problem with
I
Nollywood
keep saying it,
though,
but it's
the
love.
problem with old Nollywood though, that it had to take us 3 to 5 hours to get that kind of character development and intensity. Like that's the problem old
I'm
Nollywood
down for it.
had, and the problem new Nollywood is having right now is that they are trying to fit this story, these same complicated stories, into an hour and a half, 30
But they don't know
slots.
how to tell it.
It's not even the
They
same
don't
They
know how
just
one.
to
don't know
tell
how to
it.
tell
They
it.
don't know how to tell it.
Because they're
No,
trying to
They are
tell a
doing
story the
both.
same, like that's what they keep telling all these convoluted stories, and they jump from A to C because there's no time to do B. So tell a simpler story with less alphabets to jump through. No.
True,
I,
true.
I can see there's a point to what she's saying that indeed, but I don't necessarily. I think there's another point to it too. There is a rushing to it too. There is necessarily not a paying attention to the things that matter, because whenever they're advertising their movies, you have to come out and advertise your movies. Whether it's the company that says this is how we're going to market it, because that's what happens to so many movies is marketed not the way the director directed it, because they want to sell it to the public, and when the public goes, they get pissed off. Or whenever the filmmakers, and usually in Nigeria, it's usually the filmmakers that is talking, because we don't have that big organisms of like Hollywood has. It's an older something. It's the filmmakers that are talking. They're talking. You can see what they pay attention to. They will tell you literally what they pay attention to. They'll be like, I pay attention to the production. It looks beautiful, and they're right. Sometimes they pay attention to the production. It looks beautiful, and they will talk about how they're better than the something because they're doing something that they copied from Hollywood, like
Yeah, I
verbatim
think that's
copy.
our biggest problem, really.
They,
The
so
copying.
now, yeah, it's
The way
verbatimly copying. They're not making it for they look down on old Nollywood because of all the memes and funny and something and jokes and all that stuff. They don't know they look down, but they do. And then they just go to copy something that does not necessarily make sense
Okay.
Okay, but my
or
disagreement
look
there
lively.
is
It's,
though
the
that
it's
they're
the
not
copying
spirit
telling the
of
same
the copying for
copying.
me
stories.
is not even a problem. The copying for me is not even so much the problem because almost everything these days is copied. Like people literally, like if you look at Hollywood, they literally take stories from Japan, from India, and just do a remake. Like literally just replace all the actors with Americans, tell the same story, and they seem to do it well. It's there's an issue of competence, which is not me saying that our filmmakers are incompetent, but just saying like a lot of the filmmakers in
They
Hollywood
don't
and
know
then
love, Damola. Say
they
the
They
truth.
no
don't know
no
how
no
to
The,
write
They
the
it.
don't know
no
issue
I'm
the
love.
issue
getting
is
there
not copying.
I'm getting there because that's why I said the issue is not copy. Your point is actually right. It's the thing about telling a love story is I think like you can tell and you can do an action film even if you've never been in a firefight, right? You just kind of know what's exciting and how bullets should fly and stuff, right? But if you've never even really experienced love or at least seen it play out close to you or something, or read a book that touched you in terms of how the love played out and everything, then it's really, really hard to put that on the page and then even harder to take that from the page to the screen. Like, I mean, just how are you going to do? Because you have to make other people feel it. How are you going to make other people feel it if you can't feel it? You just be going through the motions and everything.
Yeah.
What makes those characters tick? What makes the love so like? What makes them so desperate to have that love? Those are the questions that you need to ask yourself.
So
There was this film, the one I can't remember now, but it's basically about I think it's actually set during the Biafran War, and it's about a northern soldier and an Igbo woman falling in love. And I think she had to smuggle him, or somebody had to be smuggled across enemy lines in a truck with tomatoes and stuff like that. But it's just like when you look at the stakes, these people could die, but because of love, they've decided that what, we're going to do this thing. I think that's is the intensity of it. And if you've never been in a situation where you've even had to like do something for somebody that was, that you disagreed with, but just because of love, you said, I'll do this thing no matter what. It's just hard. I don't know. It's hard.
No, true, true.
is it is it really hard? Because let me use something for an example, and that's the reason why I would never put Isoken as romance for me.
Thank you,
Because
Elizabeth. Go on.
Isoken is just exactly like something new with Sana Lathan, right? Like the same story. Well, just the Nigerian experience in there. Every other thing is she basically took the same thing, the black girl, white boy, and even the what's it called? It was close to the same structure, but the difference is this: when you watch something new, you watch them fall in love, and I think our problem is Isoken is very textbook like, right? Textbook structured romance, meet cute. And then how do we use our montage? I don't think we also know how to use montage
Oh my
in
God,
we
Elizabeth.
really don't know because she just did, they went to Eco Market, they entered Keke, they went to swim. Ooh, look, in love, they kissed at the gallery. And how did it happen? Like we didn't watch that process. Apart from that time that they met at where he came to our house and then there was that fire disaster. If that was that what happened in the love. Whereas in something new, right? We saw it grow. It didn't start small. They were still like, friendly. No, she didn't like him, and then they became friendly. And we saw the process till when it became steamy, till when they were like, you know what, we like each other. Let's break up. Okay, it's not working. We really have to like each other. Like that. Like we see the process. But the problem with Isoken is that it just tells us, it just shows us this. Oh, this. So
I
it's
want to
textbook.
disagree because so here's the thing, right? It's okay. I need to go and watch it again because maybe you are right about it not showing us the process. But I think for those who do like it's okay and consider it to be a great romance, modern romance in Nollywood, I think the intensity was there. I don't think they
No, you
necessarily
know they
pushed
did.
it. Oh, wait,
Damola, I know they
Where
did.
exactly did
not
they
all the
fall
way
in
to the
love? I
man.
think that's the part that
Damola
is
is not there.
missing.
No,
Wallahi, go and
there
watch
is
it
no.
again. Kuchim there.
There's definitely around like the 70, around like 75% way through the film where because I remember like she was torn between him and the other guy, right?
How
What was the
was she
reason why she was
torn?
Joseph
torn?
Benjamin,
Why
It
was
was
and it
she
was
Why
hard.
torn?
was she torn?
It
Damola,
was
because they were
Wallahi,
both
scary.
no because
not
they
be
were
like,
both
go and
great
watch this
guys
film.
because they were both great
Okay.
guys, right? But then there's this. See, the thing is that the thing about films is that maybe it's just me, but sometimes a single moment in a film can tie everything together and just redeem everything. And that's why I say like endings for me. So because sometimes even if a film is mediocre and has this really great ending, you end up just remembering the ending. What I
Have you
remember
seen
was like
something new? Have you
I
watched
have seen
something new?
something new. Sana Lathan with the whole hair thing, and at the end she's
Yeah, and
dancing alone in her apartment and everything. Yeah, I remember. I remember that film. Yeah.
But the
Oh,
entire
Um.
and
is
and
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 quite
I just
clear she doesn't like the
let me
first love interest for a second.
and
Sorry.
I just want I just want to say using the example of something new and it's okay. Now, something new is not just like a romance. It's also it is a romance, but it's also very localized within America for a very good it's about the race and the way America sees race and all that stuff and all that thing. So it's a love story. It's a pretty typical love story about choosing the outside or something. It's very, 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 very rote, right? Both stories, something is very good, but they localized it. The movie, the maker localized it within America. It's made for the American audience first. Americans will understand the feelings of relating why this is an issue. When I first saw something new, right? I just recently came to America. When narrating saw what's it called? The guy that plays the mentalist. Handsome guy. I did
Baker.
not see. Well done. I did not understand the issue. I did not. When he saw it, I did not like. I saw her look at me. I didn't really understand what was going on. But watching it years later, that I'm now more versed in the American something, I get it more. I get why it works a lot more. Isoke, even though it's a copy of something, Isoke does not necessarily completely localize the entire thing. It's not
Why do
very
guys say
localized.
this
True.
thing
It's
It's
now?
true
so
because what
So
True.
exactly was
I
True.
think
It
I
Isoke?
just
want to
talked a lot
forget.
about
So
women
when you're
getting
communicating,
married.
right, the biggest problem
Yes.
with Isheken for me is that the two options. Number one, like they don't really, they're not. You want it to be hard for her, like you want
choose,
it
yeah.
to be to choose which one. But like the Niger, I can't remember the who plays the Nigerian guy, but whoever plays the
It's
Nigerian guy,
was Benjamin.
Joseph Benjamin.
I was
Benjamin,
Joseph
yeah,
thinking
Benjamin.
Hey
he's
Ben.
Joseph
just
Benjamin.
from the
Okay, you're supposed
beginning
to
the
remember Joseph
cold.
Benjamin before the.
Yeah, all right.
Okay,
Hang on,
okay,
wait.
okay, yeah.
He's just from the beginning. He's just the cold one. Hang on. He is actually structured as the colder version of the person who is just about business. Like he just wants. Yeah, you're the person. Like he's charming and thing, but like there is no person. There's no. He's played as always somebody who. This is not going to be the one she picks. Like you can't see two scenes with him and go, all right, this is the one. He just has money and that's it. This guy is clearly the one that comes with personality on script, by the way, because I didn't
But
I didn't I
does
didn't,
that
I
apply
didn't
to
buy that
something
thing.
new as well? Isn't that the one
But
with Blair? What's his
I
name? Is
I,
it Blair
I,
Underwood?
I
Please,
don't
Blair
I haven't
Underwood,
seen
leave
something
him
Blair
new.
alone.
I
Oh,
haven't
Underwood.
seen
Blair
something new.
So
Underwood.
he
I'm
likes
just
It's the same
criticizing.
thing,
personality
same
now.
So I'm
thing.
like
It's
speaking
the
it
same thing,
about it
same thing.
detached from anything else,
Yeah,
and
on
speaking
its
about
own.
this on its own because I haven't seen something new. I don't care
Oh, fair
about
enough.
it.
Fair enough.
Like
Sorry.
Mr. C, you have
from
to
the
see it. Don't say that.
perspective of just that film, like it didn't feel like number one, this was a choice they built to be hard,
Yeah.
and number two, even when she picks, she just at just some point the movie's like, oh no, this guy is really not the one. He says something like that's a bit
With the yeah,
crass and
exactly.
like there's no. Oh yeah, he's a bad guy because he is. Oh, you
He
have to be
doesn't
behind
defend
him.
Yeah.
him.
Yeah,
And
something
yeah,
like
But it's
it
kind
just
of it,
threw
it is
me
it is
there.
kind
So
of a
like it
hard choice,
never
isn't it?
felt, and I didn't buy the chemistry between Handy or you both
yeah.
guy
Because
either.
you
I'm
I,
know
telling
the
you.
Yeah,
because you know
and
the Mr.
You
C
guys
It
will
didn't
tell
buy
you
that
wasn't
the
whole
bad.
goofy thing,
it's
and
just
that was
let me
making
down
it
But
in
can
the
I also say
same
interesting.
way
something?
as well. Oh yeah,
okay.
just yeah. I was gonna say like it's gonna let me down in the way Mr. C just explained as well because I even thought like she had a cuter meeting with the Nigerian guy than she did with
Yes.
the
If he
Oyibo guy.
complimented her gele.
Yeah, exactly. Like the flirting at the wedding when they set them up is like, oh, we both have this thing in common. Everyone's trying to set us up. It was cute. And it was just so inconsistent with like this guy complimenting her weird gilly that her mom just criticized is the one that's going to be criticizing her hair later on. It didn't flow. And it's like
Exactly.
I was like, you don't have the brave the film because I feel like it would have been perfectly fine and probably brave to show two good choices.
yes, and just
Two
pick
good
one.
choices, and she
Oh no, but
picked
Nollywood
one.
has that problem, Mrs. C.
Yes,
It does
exactly.
it
When
every single
you're
time.
not allowed
There's a
to have
love
two
triangle.
good choices. Yes, exactly.
One
One
person
of
has
them
to
has
be
to be
bad.
clearly worse.
Yes.
Yes. And it's like this is not just sometimes people are good and you're feeling
Yes.
this one more than this
More than
one.
the
There
other
doesn't
one.
have to be
I think that's
something
what
wrong
happened
with
with
them. They're
something
just not
new.
your
Yeah.
and I feel like if
It
Isoken had done that, I would rate it quite highly.
also doesn't help, like just because it felt like it was just because he was able. Because like what the things that
The
that
things
got
that
her
were
was
cute about him, yeah, were like,
oh
Keke, I'm sorry. If some guy
Keke and he
from
likes her
Lucky
natural
Boat Club
hair.
took her to Keke, would she have
Oh my
been,
God.
exactly.
He
I would
was
have been.
goofy. He
yo?
was
Damola,
goofy. You know
go
what?
and watch this okay again with me.
No,
I
I don't need to watch it. See, I know why. I know I was rooting for the white dude in that because I am that white guy, the goofy guy, not the serious guy with plenty money and everything. And
Boko
I'm telling you
Goofy.
now that
Damola
I'm telling you
go
that there's a lot
Goofy.
of he was
He
goofy,
didn't
just even
goofy.
the whole even okay. So you're saying that their own meet cute was not so Joseph Benjamin meeting her at the wedding and keeping face and then flirting with her. That one was cute, but him like bringing out
Him
the
bringing out
panties.
Akpata is cute.
I feel like
Please,
you,
you
Damola,
people,
you're
please.
forgetting that we're Nigerian women. We're
Mention
not
women
Damola,
American
please.
skewed
women.
there.
Like,
Don't
Mention
bring up
I
Nigerian
don't
women's
bring
logic.
my
Are you
damn voice.
That's
insane? Like,
not
what are
true.
you
That's
talking
not
about?
true,
No, you
Damola.
guys should mention one meet cute in Nollywood in the last decade that took you by surprise more than that, or made you giggle more than that. Mention one.
This
I
one didn't
didn't
even make me
Oh my
giggle.
giggle. It
God.
was
I am going to
good.
honestly say
I didn't
this.
giggle.
The white guy, and I was watching the movie. If that white guy, maybe because I have been infected by American race politics. The things the white guy said was just what for me it would have been red flag, red flag, red
I'm
flag.
trying
This
to
guy
imagine
just
someone
wants this
asking me to
guy.
enter a keke if I don't
This
meet you
guy
and your
just
brother.
exotifies like Nigerian something because out of nowhere he's talking about something. And look here, whenever some people meet me and they know that I'm Nigerian, they start talking about Fela and I want to slap them in the face.
Like, oh God, that music conversation in our office talking about does she
Oh
know
my God.
what's his face?
It
Does
was
she know
cringe.
somebody something? Money,
Exactly.
you keep quiet.
Exactly. I'm like,
You people
and
should not
my
rewind this. If I
response,
go
my
back and
response
watch
is
this movie
like,
and I don't like it, I'm coming here to fight.
It
no,
made
I'm
me
not.
go
Look,
on the
it's
review
not.
for
I
my
don't like this
because
movie. I think this movie is okay. I don't understand the. I'm raising it. I think it's okay. That's why I said it's like by the book. It's not like something new. Something new is wrote. Yes, the story is wrote, but something new is actually touches on
You
something, and it's
said the
not.
romance
It's
if
beautiful,
happened.
you
You
replace
but
said the
like
romance
if
it's
happened.
you
something
replace
new.
that Igbo guy, if you
They
replace that
actually
Igbo guy with a
they actually
Nigerian
fight
guy,
for their love.
let me finish this. If you replace the Igbo guy with a Nigerian guy, this movie does not work. Nobody will believe it, right?
Exactly,
Nobody believes
exactly my
anything
point.
again. Because
Exactly
like if
my
a
point.
Nigerian guy starts telling you, oh, let's do roadside bullet, they all say, hey,
Or
hang on.
let's go
Wait,
to
you're trying
spoken
to
word and
scam me,
open
aren't
mic
you?
I
night.
used to
You're trying to
IJGBs, and
scam
even
me.
then,
Yeah.
it just seems sus.
It's become
Like
But
it's
suspicious.
because
playing
it's
a
a
game.
British man, it's not sauce. He
Exactly.
like
Mm.
That's
artistic things. He
Oh
don't
yeah,
like
he,
Nigeria.
yeah.
he
See,
That
likes
this
your
Damola, don't let go and watch this.
yeah. No, that was my biggest problem. Is like it just seemed like, oh, his personality is that he's white and he's not from here.
yeah.
That was his
Yes,
personality.
yes. And the conflict is also not from the fact that he was white, because the one other big elephant in the room throughout the movie was, oh, I'm old. They want me to get married. Oh, my friends and I, we're old. Oh, we have to get married when our 30s. We're not married. And they said that for so long. Like every time these girls are gathered, they're talking about how they're old and they're not married.
He
And
did
the next
not
thing
pass
we
the
see,
test. He didn't. Every single conversation was about man.
and then
Abba.
next thing we see a white guy and he says, oh, I like Fela, and I like Ankara, and I like Keke. Oh, look, I like him. How did that happen? Like it was so weird. And next thing, like, oh no, I have to marry him because it's better for me. Why is
Oyibo
it better
Afro
for
And
Juju.
you?
then to top it off, the guy
He's
who
better
liked
for her
Gele in
because he
the
was
first
better
place,
for her
all of
because
a sudden
he would
doesn't like
let
it.
her
And
be
like,
herself.
What is
She could truly be
herself,
herself.
Damola?
That white guy was a
What?
basic
No.
white guy.
Before you people, before we even, what?
No,
Even
see, look,
we're talking
Isoke's
about how
whole
we
character,
don't know
like the
the
whole
character
thing.
of the men.
No,
What
but
is
like
this Oken's character? Who is this Oken as a person?
She's
Isoke
a
as a
Did that
person
person,
with
film
her
actually
own
tell us
job.
who she was?
Isoke
She has
as a
job.
person was
She
just
just to
like
do something.
It's
Bubble.
okay
she
as a person is into the swirl, She's into the
she's just
swirl.
different. She
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 likes
mixes
arts.
things up. She's not like even that you guys keep on talking about her gele, but that was completely deliberate. When you look at her gele versus the other women and everything, just
Beside no,
the
but
way she
beside
even tied it.
aesthetically, what?
no,
Who
but
is
even outside
Isoken as a person?
aesthetics, though, the thing he likes about her first is that she's different, that she stands out. But then, as soon as it becomes convenient for it not to be a cute story anymore, he hates everything about that. Like, it's the most
Thank
Exactly.
insane
you.
Which
story.
is my question about who is this Isoken beyond the aesthetics, the Ankara cushions, and the ramshackled living room with old records. Like those things are aesthetics. But who
If
is
we had
she
seen more
as
about
a
interaction with the
person?
Oyibo boy, rather than she and her friend talking about how men don't want to marry them,
Exactly.
maybe we would have seen them
What do
fall
we
in
know
love.
about Isoka in her relationship, in her friendships with her friends? What do they? Nothing is revealed about who she is as a person, which is why none of it was high tension or high stakes for us because we felt nothing for any of these characters as people.
Anyway, the rich writer has not said.
Yeah,
It's
I
Vanessa
haven't
still
said
speaking.
anything
Come
yet.
on.
I haven't said anything yet.
Okay, the rich writer, please tell us some of your favorite romance films in Nollywood.
Well, my favorite romance film in Nollywood, will I be a fraud if I say I don't have any?
No, you're well within
No,
your
that's
right not to
fine.
like anything.
Okay, okay. But I would say that I like romance. As a genre, I like romance. I think I'm reading this book now. The genre of story, what's it called? The anatomy of genres, and the author there says that romance is like the most difficult to write, and I agree because the problem with Nollywood stories is that they do not create enough backdrop for the romance to happen, which is they won't create enough conflict outside of the two main leads for the romance to build off of. For example, if you take Romeo and Juliet, the two families are at war, like they are not friends, and then there's this one from this family and the girl from the other family. They now start talking. That is problem. That love is going to have so much to deal with, and that drives conflict, moves the story forward, makes the love convincing because we are rooting for them, we want them to succeed. But in Nollywood, it's like every single thing that's supposed to count as conflict is fake. It's like, they just put this thing here so that they can kiss or maybe have one or two scenes, but apart from that, it does not feel like the stakes are not real. Like anything that's happening here, it does not really matter. Like you could just swap any other two characters and the story will continue. You get. So I think that if we could learn to build like the backdrop for the conflict as much as we usually do with our sets, how our sets are fine, just build enough conflict that is genuine to the story, then your romance will bubble because it's like, these characters have a lot to fight for. This love that they're doing is not child's play. They need this love. The people that their family members that are fighting them also need this love, even if they don't know it. You get. So, but there's nothing like that, and that's why most of our romance, so guys, like everything is just it's plastic, plastic, plastic. That didn't
All
even
right.
make sense.
No, I actually you made sense. Thanks,
I want
the Rachel. So, like, I think like this is a good time to start talking about some of the least, the less good, the bad romance, and maybe we would just anything that maybe you can talk about the ones that you think might be unpopular and stuff. But before we go that, I also have to shout out the last great, obviously romance in Nollywood, which is
Slap
Namase
this guy,
Wahala.
please. How do we end this? Like, how can we end this
Let's
topic now?
go.
No, 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 no. We've done this space. This
Are
is
you
love.
still
Don't cut
talking?
off that
What
face.
do you? No,
Why?
no, no. Me, I wanted to say,
I express
you
my
want
Namaste
to?
Wahala love
No,
now.
me, are you done?
I'm not done. I'm just saying your name, and everybody said attacking me.
Carry on. But
No,
me,
just
Yeah, guys,
okay. You can start the bad.
Namaste
You can
Can
Wahala.
I start the bad?
okay,
It's not the greatest romance,
We've
but
already
look
started the
here,
bad though. We're saying
it touches
Namaste
on
Wahala,
something.
which is the bad guy.
Namaste
I,
Wala is the
no,
opening of the bad. Oh, you
Yeah, like we're already
complete.
started the
Let's
all
bad.
right.
This is
let's
the bad
let's
Namaste
guy.
start the
Wahala.
good.
Look,
wait, everybody, wait. Let me say
it is
my this
comfort.
thing. Let me say my
It
this
is
thing. Then
comfort.
you guys,
It is
anybody
comfort.
can
Look here.
speak. I'll speak later. All right. Okay. So Namaste Wahala, one of the goods for me. And somebody was saying, well, how come we have not spoken about Namaste Wahala? I'm glad that we have not spoken about Namaste Wahala. Well, be on glad right now because the time is here. One of the greatest of all times. Which other romance gives you random MI for no reason? It just comes and penetrates you and just leaves. Just comes in, drops it, drinks Coke or something. It drinks Coke and leaves. This is why I thought a true classic. It's one that stays with me. I don't need hard facts. I don't need hard facts. You can't tell me nothing about this. This is the film that took a shy innie, obviously an oppressed shy innie, from somebody who could not lawyer who could not lawyer well, but the love that she found was probably the thing that propelled her to do some lawyering thing at the end. Who cares? The point was Indomie diets got this guy a body of. This is why I want in fantasy land, like when you eat Indomie, well, that's all you eat, and you have this guy's body. That's the kind of thing I want in my films when I'm watching it. I want the director to be so involved that they come and they explain the love interest. It's like she introduces love interest, and then when the love interest are to their we can't be together thing, she comes, no, think about it, guys, come together. She speaks to the parents. She's like, no, this is director, this kind of thing. It's like, I was like, who is this person? And then you put your husband inside to be your secret admirer. What are you saying? Come on now. If you guys don't like Namaste Wala, you don't love. That's actual love, to put your husband as your secret admirer in the film. Which one of your films have done that? Which one of your faves have put their husband as their secret admirer in their films? All right. And then the meet cute of all meet cutes. Damola asked me which meet cute made me laugh, as I'll giggle as much as it's okay. It was the one on the beach where there was nobody on that beach but the
This
two
is a
of
hate
them,
crime. This is a hate
and
crime.
both
I'm
of
going to
them
report this
jammed.
to the director.
Only that can make you jam like this in a
That was
empty beach.
literally
That's
the
what I
point
was saying.
where I switched that
But yeah,
film off,
all right.
because
So
I'm so
like
sorry. Why
I'm
is everybody doing
done.
thumbs down?
I'm done.
Because Mr. C
because
deserves to be browbeaten
No,
to
this is
realizing that Namaste
I'm
Wala
done.
is
I'm
Namaste
not.
done.
Wala is joyfulness.
Thank
Okay?
you. Bless you.
And
Pure
enjoy
joy.
to have joyfulness, yo.
We're all talking about soundtracks. Namaste, Wahala. What are you telling me? What's the last romance soundtrack you remember? Well, tell me. No, sing it. Sing it for me. Sing it for me. What's the last one you remember? The soundtrack. Go on. All right, that's me done. We
I
cannot
actually cannot
enter.
stand you. I'm
You
Please,
can,
please, before you enter the
you
bad, please, before you enter the
can,
bad, please, I wanted to piggyback off what the rich writer, what it was talking about the structure of writing Nollywood. I mean, romance in Nollywood, and I want to draw a parallel with how Mortal Inheritance was done. I don't even think Mortal Inheritance was up to 1 hour 45 minutes. I'm sure it was maybe 90 minutes, but it packed a lot of romance, and the story was simple. The meet cute happened like the first scene of this movie. Like, we were not lost, we were not confused. They didn't need to give us a backstory to anything. This movie just started as it should. We had our meet cute, and then we had them meet and then started liking each other. And they used montage to show that, oh, look, they're falling in love. But that was where it was from that place they started building towards the conflict, and then the stakes became high. Because the problem is the entire movie is not the romance. It's not that they fell in love at the end of the movie, which is what Nollywood has been trying to do now of late, right? They weren't pushing the falling in love to the end of the movie. They built other things. So other things like it was intertribal, and then remember that this was 94. It's not now like everybody's marrying each other. It was intertribal, and apart from that, she was sickle cell. So there was so many things that was fighting, that was working against them getting together. And then we saw that journey. They broke up once, and then they got together, and then the end. And it was so much for me. I thought that was really tight storytelling. Like, if anybody wants to write romance again, they should go back and try that. And I think that's what is missing now, is that we really don't know how to tell stories and to tie things together. And then that's how you get a movie like Hey You. Thank you.
Speaking of Hey You,
Sorry.
Wait,
What question? So you want to? Does
Me,
somebody
I
want
want to start though. I have
no,
list.
I have
Sorry,
long
before you
list.
start, can I say something?
hold on. Man, vex. Let me just talk. We'll move on to the list. I see that we've had a lot of love for old Nollywood romance, right? And we've had a lot of smoke for more recent Nollywood romance.
I've never started the smoke.
They have been smoking since, so I have not started the smoke.
I just gave love to Namaste Wala. What are you saying?
But like, I feel like I need to remind everybody, as we're heading into this bad section, I'm going to start off with old Nollywood romance in a more generalized sense. the misogyny.
Yeah, that was our reality.
Yes,
That was our
okay, yeah,
reality.
exactly. Well, yes,
Hey.
I feel like romance, our romance
Reflection
films
of society.
tend to be a reflection of society.
Hey, yo,
but also,
listen.
I don't know what effect. I don't know like which side was reflecting what, because I don't know how much the films influence society. But because I started watching a bunch of random old stuff, right, over the last few years, and I saw this one with Desmond Elliott and Rita Dominic. And Desmond Elliott, had a thing for Rita Dominic. Rita Dominic was kind of a bronze girl, kind of a rich girl, I can't remember. But like, this guy used to harass her on campus. She'd be at campus with her short skirt, halter top, and the boots, right? But she not even halter top. These 3/4 sleeve shirts that I used to wear in the 2000s with her mini skirt, walking with her girlfriends. And my guy will come and harass her, publicly berate her for dressing like a whore. Right? And be like, if she doesn't stop dressing like this, every day he's going to come here and embarrass her. And Mikey literally embarrassed her into modest dressing, because embarrassing her every day until she started to dress decent to avoid this harassing fellow. Right? When I harassed her, she was about to enter a sugar daddy's car, insulted her, refused to allow her enter. This guy should not give a face, so coming to her house to disturb her. And all of a sudden, she starts giving him face because nobody has ever shown her true love like this.
What are you saying?
In trying to set her on the right path. And this is just one example of all of the things I saw. So my dedication. And I don't know if these things influenced a lot of men to think, a lot of Nigerian men to think they need to chase. She said no. I need to come to her house. I need to go see her people. I need to buy her something.
That's right.
So
I need us to also remember the stories then were mirroring M&B. They were mirroring what we were reading in Hints magazine back then. It was always so bad. It was all this. Let's not talk about that era. It was in the 2004s upward. It was
Let's
terrible.
talk about that era, because
The
Are we
two
arguing then that the
together.
misogyny
Sorry,
has
my own is
changed?
two
Because
together.
it's still the
If
same.
I should grab Emeka Ike in two together. Because what Emeka Ike did to Genevieve in two together. This man flogged Genevieve eye. He broke Genevieve eye. Then they forced Genevieve to marry this man. See, people don't understand. I was a child.
It was
And from
Chidi
that,
Chikere era. It was
let me
Chidi
not lie, that
Chikere
was the
era.
beginning of feminism for me. Because
Hey, it's biblical.
when they flogged
Nah,
Genevieve
these people
eye,
hated women.
That's
and
biblical.
they made Genevieve to marry that man. Mind you, this man was her teacher. So predatory something there inside, When I was watching that film, I said, is this what a woman's life is like? I was quite upset. I was a child, but I was like, no, this is not love.
But
And
that's
then when
Beauty
these
and
people
that's
meet
Beauty and the
together,
Beast, man.
then they now came
That's
to
Beauty
deceive
and the
us.
Beast.
This is love and marriage.
That is Beauty and the Beast, though. That actually is Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast is a stupid story
Guys. I wouldn't necessarily say it's Beauty and the Beast, but in some ways, yes. But
Sorry, yeah, what? I missed what you
this is
said.
what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to say. Like the original Beauty and the Beast, it's not necessarily focused on her. It's not Beauty and the Beast, because the original Beauty and the Beast was not like that. Was not like he should like torture the woman and everything. It was kind of like, oh, the girl should learn not to be vain. But with that said, yes, romance has always been very, very sexist. Very, very sexist. Because again, it's more of a reflection of the society. Films, it's a psycho something. It's more of a reflection of the society. Think about any romance movie that you guys that we love. Who is the person making the biggest sacrifice? Who? It's always the female. Almost always the female. Like, yeah, there's honestly a feminist critique of like, okay, there's a reason why like some radical feminists definitely go after the idea of dating, after the idea of something. They have a point. There's always like the female makes so much sacrifices, and like, yeah, they will always blame you first. even if they blame both of you, you get the lion's share. There is more of an understanding of the male point of view than necessarily the female point of view. Sorry, yeah. Like, yeah, romance has always been like that. It's
In
not. It's
fairness,
not only love. Even modern romances. Modern romances are even like that. Like the sexism is understated. Nobody sometimes realizes it. Like it's very understated. It's very understated, and I'm just like, that's a little bit sexist. But hey, this is the world we live in. Hopefully, 1,000 years from now, I will not be alive. But 1,000 years from now, there will be less sexism in the world.
I remember some films where the man was doing sacrifices. Kanaya did some sacrifices
Mr. C, please, we're
back in the
talking
day
about love.
for love. For love, yeah, he did sacrifices for love.
Mr.
What are you
C,
saying?
please,
What are
please,
you saying?
please,
Do you want me to drop the speech?
let's
What
go
are you
to our
saying?
bad.
All right,
Let's go
okay.
to our bad.
We're doing the bad. I'm just saying, some people be doing sacrifices for love.
Mr. C,
What,
please,
what
take
about
this serious.
hostages?
Take this
Hostages.
serious.
I do remember Nigeria movies where the man makes some ultimate sacrifice. There was this movie where the Rita Dominic was blind, and then she met a movie star, and the movie star was taking care of her. But that actor was in another movie with Tony Omez, and I've forgotten who the woman is. But her parents told her not to marry Tony Omez, right? Her parents were like against it. Everybody was against it, and they fought for their love, and then they moved to, I think, Freetown. Antonio Moyes turns out to be an asshole, cheating up and down, everything, all that, blah, blah. And in the end, she comes back to her parents' house and everything. And the guy that loves her was always her brother's friend. And we saw it in the movie. He was always in love with her. And then it comes at the end of the movie. And it's like, oh, let's be together. He professes love. And she's like, I can't do it because she rejects him because of the bad experience she has with Tommy Ome. She's like, this time I'm going to just listen to whoever my parents say I should be with because I did the fighting once and it turned out I fought for the wrong person. But this guy was always there for you. And it was just like so sad to see that the movie ended. And I was looking for part two, but there was a part two of that movie. I'm saying the plot so that somebody can tell me if they saw the movie too.
I do not recall. But I like in this section, like where we're talking about bad, I think some of the no point to talk about obviously bad stuff. But somebody has reminded me one of the things I think is kind of liked. We've discussed Ishakan. I don't even dislike Ishakan like that, but I just don't think it's particularly great. But a movie I think is actively bad that I'm surprised people hail is Kambili. I
Hey,
think
you took
that
my
movie.
list. This is why I say you should let me talk. I'm the one who wants to rag on Kambili. See, Kambili is my birthright.
All right, okay,
Kambili
take.
is my birthright. Me and Kambili, we will fight. Because I do remember when they were advertising this. I'm sorry, guys. Me and Kambili, if Kambili has one hater, it's me. If Kambili has zero haters, I'm not alive. When they were advertising Kambili, they were professing Kambili to be this best friend to lovers. And me, I was sitting in my own, jejely in my house, reading my romance novel, where I do enjoy friendship to lovers. Only for me to watch this film. Monica, kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ níbí báyìí? Where is the romance, yo? Níbo ni romance wà? Where is the chemistry? Where is the love? You have an immensely unlikable character. And you think I'm gonna support this girl to find love? No, I want everybody to ship her away into a far country where nobody can find her. That girl don't deserve love. She don't deserve love. What kind of irresponsible? I wanna win for the first 47 minutes, almost 1 hour of this film. I'm going to win back John. I'm going to show John that I'm a 30 years wife material. I'm going to show John that what was those things that he said to her? That I can be responsible, I can be my friend, will you keep quiet? Will you actually keep no, because sorry, I hate to hate on somebody's name, but what kind of generic name is John? Of all you have characters, so again, the lead character name is Kambili. her best friend name is another wonderful name, then you just randomly throw John into the mix. Who does that? And for me, every time I speak about Kambili, I must talk about the one scene that I genuinely believe they shot in a closed set. Nobody did that set when they shoot that scene, because if to say they did there, therefore don't tell and say they don't pronounce uncouth as uncouth.
Cow.
My girl sat down in the motor
She
car.
doesn't know how to pronounce anything in any movie. That's how she said we are fugitives. Or
Wow,
what was the
fugitive. See, no, you people don't laugh. It's not funny. I remember the first time I watched that film. She was in the car. This girl was giving speech, monologue. You are this, you are that, you are rude, you are mean. And on count, I say no, pause. Kilowi, she said on count. I rewind it again. Monique Kilowi, she said on count. Yeah, when he Jesus Christ. Nobody on that set said, sorry, Nancy, it's not on count, it's on couth. This girl. Nah. And then that her stupid best friend. Jide Kene. I don't like speaking on Jide Kene in public because somehow I like it, but when you're there. But it didn't work. Kimapuro, it didn't work. He didn't act. Jide Kene was not acting in that film. Jide Kene was just standing there. Let me not even like, he just stood there, because how can they be gaslighting your girlfriend? Sharon Oja
Oh my
went through a lot
God.
in that film.
This one is painful.
They
I've never felt for Sharon.
They gaslit Sharon Oja. Made this
Sharon,
girl believe that she was crazy.
Sharon
I wanted
has
her to
played
go find love
a
elsewhere.
journalist that they've taken into kidnapping into Italy, and she has played somebody they've abused. This is the most I felt for Sharon Oja in all of her
Honestly,
characters.
I wanted to beat all of
At
them on
every
behalf
point in
of
time,
that
I
girl.
wanted her to beat them.
See, I dare your back, because how dare they? How actually dare they? The unmitigated gore for all of them to sit around the dining table talking about Chidi broke up with me. My friend, what are people celebrating? What are people celebrating? That Chidi lost a wonderful young lady.
That scene was so bad. That scene, I was screaming. I was like, what's happening here?
What is this? Like, genuinely, what is this? And then they now end. No. Do you know what was more annoying to me? She stayed the night after the OCD kini where they drank wine. They didn't now show. They didn't show us
what happened.
They didn't show us what happened. So how am I supposed to know what changed between them as friends? Only for him to now go to her gallery and say, "Why did you run away?" Money, even me, I want to know why she ran away, because what really
Like,
happened?
what did she even run away from? Like,
What was she running from? Why are you running? Because if we, the audience, too, don't know why she is running.
And then they showed him reaching for her and she had gone.
Exactly.
Why
They
are you
showed him
reaching for her?
Kilo Shale. What happened in the cover of Darkness? They didn't want to tell us. Only for him to come, you ran away. She said, no, I didn't run away. I just had to open the gallery in the morning. Then that's how he now started doing declaration of love. Then honestly, I won't even lie to you. Let me tell you people the truth. I would have enjoyed Kambili if it was about her mother and Uzaruko's story. If they just gave me older woman falling in love, I would be recommending Kambili from now till tomorrow. Because those people, they do have love. Unlike this stupid daughter of hers who came home. See, I do usually have second-hand embarrassment. It's one of my great many flaws. And that's why I hate cringy things, because I will drop the phone and run away if somebody is embarrassing me or they are embarrassing themselves for film. When this girl carried ring from the bedside table and was choking it on her hand, hey, ground wanted to swallow me. Ground wanted to swallow. Never. Monipe kilo shele. Onipe, my mother, she said, wait, babe, are you not going to propose to me? I'm 29 this year and I want to be married before I'm 30. I'm going to be 30 next year. So we have to get married. Monipe kilo shele. This man said, I'm confused. She said, well, I don't have a ring. Well, no, but babe, you have a ring. Nobody reached Ninu bedside table. Say, see, your mother's ring. It's so pretty. I really love it. Hey, he said, no, let me go and get it resized. She said, no, don't worry. Just put it on my finger. And she was putting her hand in the man's face. God, I've never felt embarrassed on behalf of somebody in my entire life. And then this stupid girl came back home, walking upon the air, talking about John proposed to me. Monipe lori iro. You proposed to yourself. John didn't propose to you. John didn't propose to you. You proposed to yourself. Came back. John proposed to me. I'm walking upon the moon. Only for
Do
him
you
to come
love
and say,
this?
why are
Do
you
you
eating
love this
shawarma?
film or hate this
Oh,
film?
we
Because
hate
I'm
it. Like Damola,
confused
let's
now.
just
It
be
sounds
clear.
like
We
you
hate
love.
it.
You sound.
No, like we hate
I
it.
know you're saying
Shawarma.
bad things about a
It's
film that
unclear.
annoy you, but
I
it sounds
love
like
to
you love
hate
this
I
it.
just want
film.
to be
Personally,
clear.
I love to hate Cambly.
Kambili is a horrible film. Damola is bad. Is bad because 95% of that film is planning to get. Sorry, I just remembered one of my major grounds was the cap that they put on her head for her gallery opening. You people don't understand. Everybody showed up to that gallery opening looking like they were going to the opera. And then here walks in the gallery owner with fedora cap on her head. And you want to know why I hate it so much? Because it's so indicative of what Nollywood thinks artists dress like. I played this girl.
All right.
So the
Okay. I think
proposal scene.
we can close the chapter. Can we close the chapter on
No, wait. So
Cambili? I
that
think
We
Vanessa
can't
proposal
has
close the
scene
finished
was
chapter.
Cambili.
We can't
cringe.
close the chapter. Okabili deserves floggings.
Vanessa,
Floggings.
you were so mean
But
to
let me
Kambili
raise
that you're
you
now
a
making me
worse
look like
scene. Flower Girl.
defending.
Flower Girl scene where she leaves her office and goes for this man's dinner that he invited her to. And they stand there in the middle of the restaurant and she will not let them sit down. Like he's screaming in front of the whole restaurant. And his boss is, I was like, oh my God. And I honestly, I didn't even notice the second watch after I told you guys it was the best movie ever. And I watched it again. I was like, why the hell? Who the fuck? How do I delete the scene like entirely from the movie? It was ridiculous. But there's a theme with Nollywood where they do this whole I'm almost 30, I'm 29,
It's so
and for the
annoying.
next 365 days, I'm going to do the worst things possible to make
Do
sure
you
you
know the
like
line that
me.
annoys me when they say this? I'm almost 30. Is a woman is a flower. And she's about, I don't want to wither. Monipe God punish you as a flower. You will wither in the sun. You will wither in the desert.
Let me. I want to ask you a question though. I want to ask you a question
Because
because
I just, I mean, okay, she flower, or I won't wither. God will not allow me to wither in Jesus' name.
can I ask you a question? So with the whole like being 30 and unmarried thing and doing things to make sure that you're married before 30, is that trope itself the problem? Like you don't want to see it at
It's
all,
part of the
or
Yes.
if
problem
they
because
No,
it's
push if
no.
they
I
push
overused
don't
and
think
it's
it's the
if they
problem.
overdone.
push
No.
if no let's say they decided to actually go to the mat and pushed the boundaries on that, like just how far this character is willing to go, the things that this character is willing to
Okay.
do in and everything, making it compelling. Would you be
Sorry,
okay
what
with
do
it?
you mean by compelling? How far the characters
I
going
don't
to
know.
go?
Like so for example, and I haven't even watched this film, it's just that
Look,
I'm
do you
pretty
know
sure
that
what
even
the storyline is like.
this series called Before 30 wasn't as bad. It's not, it's
No,
personally for
before
me, it's not
30
even
was
as bad
good.
as
Before
this
30 was
being
good.
30,
Yeah,
right?
like it's not
Like,
the
because she doesn't sit around
it's not
and
the
mope
premise
around.
itself
Oh
that's
my God, I'm
terrible.
30.
It's how
No.
it's
Before
done.
30 was good.
Like everybody, for instance, like it's just it feels like in Nollywood, every single movie for most of them, even minus Before 30, which is I almost didn't watch Before 30 for this very reason because they spent as soon as they turn 29, Nollywood acts like they're
It's
dying the
1 year to
next
go.
morning. And so it's like literally on
Honestly.
their 29th birthday or like their 30th birthday sometimes somebody will call them, happy birthday. Well, you know you're still a married child. How's that going? And that's literally how they start their birthday
And then
that
they
year.
spiral. And then they spiral.
Hold on, hold on. The thing is, yeah, I don't mind that before 30 trope because first off, it's not limited to Nollywood. I've seen versions of this in Hollywood. Like you're gonna be turning 30. Oh my God, I'm single. I'm gonna die alone. I've seen it. It's there. And it's not very far fetched from our reality. Like, if you make it to 26 unmarried in Nigeria, people start asking questions and pushing. And there is a lot of pressure to be married, not even before 30. As a Nigerian woman, before 27, there is pressure to be married. 30, they're looking at you like you're expired. I get that trope. I don't mind them doing the trope, right? I don't appreciate the reality of it, but I don't mind the trope. what I mind and what is actually egregious in Kambili is if you're about to turn 30 and you're feeling the desperation to make sure to secure the ring in 1 year, actually show the character doing things that could get them a
Thank
ring
you. You know the
versus
one that
doing
really. I'm sorry.
huge things
I know
that
I'm
would chase
coming back.
away every possible husband.
I know I'm
Um,
coming
Yeah, like
back,
it's
but
fair.
I'm a hater of Kambili. This girl
what do
kept
you
talking
choose
about I
Kambili?
want to better myself. I want to start for the past 75 minutes of the film. This girl kept talking about how she want to start business. Our business proposal. Where is the business? Only for her to come. Somebody asked Akpe, why do you want to set up gallery? And also, Nollywood, can people stop using art as a hook? You people feel because I will chuck on somebody eye. This person that came, why do you want to own gallery? Gambili said, because I love art.
They are owning
Why do
gallery
you love
because they are
art?
money
It was
launderers.
No,
so
this is my own
weird.
is why do you love art? Instead of Kambili to say something, say because art is life. How is art life? What's the answer?
She
Tell
could
us
have
why.
opened a shoe shop.
So fun why.
She went late to work so she could buy shoes. She could have started selling shoes.
Yes, she
Thank
was
you.
actually sorry. She could have
But
opened a shop.
guys, again, I haven't seen this movie, so I can only
My
ask
God.
questions. But wasn't part of I only
Yes,
saw part
but she
of it.
was
So wasn't part
broke.
of
Sorry.
it.
Yeah, I wanted to hear
Wasn't
Damn
part
last
of the whole
question,
thing like
actually.
yeah. No, sorry. So I haven't seen all of it. I stopped, at the restaurant scene. Um, and so my point, but the setup in terms of the character felt like because I'm hearing some of the things you're saying, like, oh, she didn't set up a business and everything. The funny thing is that if I knew she was planning to set up a business, then just from the 2 or 3 minutes that I had seen her in the beginning, I would have been like, that girl is never going to set up a business, right? So what I'm wondering is was that not in line with the personality of the character, just being flaky, jumping from
Oh
one
no,
thing
she
to
still
another,
ended
no
up setting up
lacking.
the
No.
business. So
She
that
still
was
Okay,
her.
Yeah,
sent,
okay.
like
yes.
In
so.
fact, let me
So
tell
she
you
took
one of the
so she
scenes that
took
they
the
used to
step. She
tell us
just
that she has
wasted a lot
become
of time.
serious. I will
Right. Okay.
describe the scene for you because you have not watched the film. Let me describe the scene. She wa-
Can't believe baby.
she walks in
This
through the
is
door
doing the Kambili
because the
roast.
girl is a Dagboru Sunday Dagboru baby. Yeah, she just used to throw away all her clothes everywhere. So when they started showing us that she has changed character to develop, she now walk into the room with her bag. She now arranged her shoe by the door, removed the slippers, came, sat down like a lady. Ah, Chidi, did you cook? Chidi was now looking at the slippers. Chidi was now looking at the slippers like, Kambili has changed. Then she now received call from one of her many vendors of shoes that she do usually buy. The guy now say, customer, won't you buy? She said, no, I don't have money. Maybe next time. Chidi was now looking at her like, can Billy refuse to buy shoe? Then actually the dialogue in this scene was really good. Then as she now off the phone, Chidi now ask her, who is that? She said, no be Amaka that year. She say, who want buy shoe for this economy? Wetin you go chop? Money, you're very stupid. Have you ever cooked a day in your life? Have you actually ever? No, be you, they destroy your mama kitchen, say you they make pancake. Now you're asking Chidi, what does he want to eat? But it was so stupid that for them, the way that she changed was the fact that she arranged her shoe like a normal human being.
It's so silly.
Instead of actual emotional growth in a character. Like, are you people? Then also, sorry, even the end, the resolution when she go and chase him, pay, I love you too. Sorry, can anybody explain to me why Chidi said, oh, I'm back with my girlfriend? I know they were trying to do that nonsense of so okay, their friend, so they do joke. But this is not a joking stuff. Somebody came to tell you, pay they love you. You're talking about, oh, sorry, I'm going back with my ex-girlfriend. Then she now walk away. He now used that his mouth. Sorry, I don't voice shame people, but that voice, he didn't tick. Because the stupid boy now came from the back say, can't believe. Wait. Oh, God.
Vanessa
Family
is actually the
resolution. I wanted to fire.
Vanessa, I suggest you start watching shows that you actually like.
Hey, all
Hey,
right. Can we move away from
Where
Kambili?
is the fun in that? Where is the fun in that?
move on.
You
We
should
need to move away
suggest
from Kambili.
Vanessa.
Uh,
Vanessa has given a plot and forensic of like you're like a forensic reader of
yeah.
Oh
Camberley.
man.
That
Okay,
I'm
I'm
just
trying to
like
move on.
But
Let's
like,
move
so
on from that.
what
I
I'm
don't want to hear.
saying with women in
let's
30
move on.
is not that its premise is bad or that it's not our reality. Like, I think everyone is aware of what the Nigerian reality is. But
Right.
they take women in 30 who are either almost turning 30 that year or about to, whatever, the just turned 30. and then they make them unhinged. That's the problem that with Nollywood telling stories
That's the
about women turning 30 and being desperate for marriage.
Mhm.
It is
Mm,
unhinged
yeah.
from beginning to end. Like the
And
person
they center the
like you
entire
will see a
interaction on
woman
that.
who is put together, smart, is running a full business, who then decides that she's just going to do the most unhinged thing, like literally for no reason, because she needs to get married this year.
Because,
And even you, the audience, knows this is not going to get you closer to being married. And if you're a smart woman, how do you not know this? So like it feels like they take female characters, female leads who want to get married in their 30s, whatever the case may be, and they all of a sudden just make them insane, like unhinged, and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make for a good movie either.
Yeah. So the thing about this trope is, it's really popular across the world, but like usually that trope, the ending of those type of stories, the trope is just to say that don't mind what like society is telling you, like you should just find yourself. And usually they don't necessarily have to get they normally you're not supposed to get married at 30 by the end of the movie, and it's better if it's a TV show because then you can explore how this person is really finding themselves, but they are not as crazy as Camberley, because then we know the reason why they are not married by 30, because it's like, can't believe the reason you're not married by 30 or you will ever be married by anything is because you're a little bit unhinged. But like they explore those things, but it's
and then
it's
the
it's
key,
it's ridiculous.
I think it's different to even say, oh, you're turning 30, I need to find a man. What they do is every single interaction becomes that topic. It is tiring. It doesn't make sense. She goes to have a bath. Oh, I'm 30, I'm going to die. And then she's eating, oh, I'm 30. And she's doing, oh, I'm 30. Oh my God, show us something else. Like, what, how if I just establish that they are 30, they are going to wither like a flower? And then go ahead and show us the interactions, right? Show us, let us see how they are going to manhunt
Show us
and
that they are going to
capture them.
bloom instead of wither.
But why did I do
Yeah.
that? Every single
Okay.
scene is about 30 and
Okay,
dying.
I think we've,
let's talk
we've covered
about other romance.
this 30 plus this trope. We've covered it well. All right.
Okay.
Let's move on to something. Who has another film they want to
Anyways,
discuss?
Flower Girl, because
I
fuck
actually
Flower Girl.
I want to
Wait,
I
wait,
want
wait,
to
wait, 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 wait.
I have something. I
Okay.
like these movies, but I kind of sometimes don't like the ending. And I'm sorry. Here you go. The movie where I don't know whether it's an offshoot of romance, where the man cheats. They are already together. The man cheats. The man starts treating his wife but horribly, right? And then she gets revenge by treating him horribly back, like doing all those planning, like Mr. and Mrs. And the end of the movie,
Is
where
to God
indeed,
be the glory.
hold on, wait, yeah, yeah, hold on. At the end of the movie, um, the woman gets back with the man. It's not like she's not a. By the way, the movie does not have her be a victim woman because she is definitely getting her vengeance. She's definitely getting her things sorted in order. She's getting her house in order, and that's the Nigerian thing, right? The woman has to get. The woman is the one that gets the house in order. We're not this weak flowery something. That's a more European something of no. You're supposed to get your house in order. She gets her house in order. She's trained. She gets the something, but she still has to stay with the stupid man. Almost all old movies, old Nigerian movies, not even still modern movies, they have them stay together. Very few movies I have seen
But
have
I
the
But
woman
Oyinka,
stay
sorry.
But I
with.
see, I see this version of the trope, and I raise you the virtuous woman that
No, but
just
before
stays
the virtuous
around
woman, I just want to say that it's
and have people and have her husband like cheat, pack condom for him when he's going on trips, like pray, and just comes back, and then at some point he would just be, hey, I'm fine. Oh,
Yeah,
it's true.
yeah.
I've seen you
No.
cheating,
That one
and
is
then they
more
might end up.
fantasy. No. That one is written more fantasy. I'm talking about the one that
no,
actually
it's
have
no,
the
it's
woman
rooted.
actually fight back.
No, it's
Actually
rooted.
have the
No,
woman
it's
fight back.
rooted in our. It's rooted. It's the same thing that Mrs.
Yeah.
B said in the beginning. It's a part of our. It's a reflection of
Yes.
our society. I
I
mean,
know.
the governor of Benue State reconciled a woman with a man who was physically abusive because marriage must not end. It genuinely
Yes,
is a reflection of our society, and it's very disgusting. But
Yeah,
and
no, no, no,
it's
100%. It's just that, but like
it's so
when you're
confusing.
addressing it, you should address it as a thing that is a, well, I mean, like that's the best way. If you want to talk about it, you talk about it as a subject, but it's just perpetrating it, just carrying it along. That's the problem. I understand, like those filmmakers, that's what they knew, to be honest, and that's so they did what they knew,
It
and that's why we
continues
got
till
to that spot.
today. It continues till
I think
today.
I think like
Yeah, but
Because,
I
does
mean I'm gonna
anybody
sound like
want
a
to talk
broken
about
record now.
finding hobby
like, I'm also
part
not
one
saying.
and part two?
I just want to say one thing. I'm not saying that they cannot end up together. I'm not saying that because in real life, life is destructive. Things happen. People are not perfect. But the thing is that we should also make the man also choose and actually do the sacrifice or the things necessary to work to do the work to secure the house. I'm
So
not saying that the woman should leave, but like this
so
the responsibility of securing the house should not only be on the woman, it should also be on the man, where you secure and do the work to secure the house. That's one thing I kind of want us to move to the next level
So
to do
my
that.
question is this. My question is this. If they do that balancing act in the terms of the responsibility of, making the home, does that improve the storytelling? Because personally, I don't think that is an ingredient for improving storytelling.
Wait,
I mean,
wait. Anything can be an ingredient of improving storytelling. You can tell that it's just how you tell the story. It's a human thing. Many, even like in, why do we think that in marriages it's always only the woman? There are many marriages where the woman is about to leave and the man tries his best and does his best to also to fix that thing up. That is also a
yeah, but
reality on ground.
even if you have a film where only one, it doesn't matter whether it's the man or the woman. If you have a film where only one party is striving to keep this marriage together and the other one is just acting a complete fool, that can in itself, the
You
balance
can
is
have
not.
a compelling drama where both of them are trying, because
But you can
sometimes
also have a
both
compelling
people
drama where just
try
one
and then
is.
it doesn't work out. You can have a compelling drama. Human drama is not just all about one person. No, that's something. That's
Yeah, yeah,
something.
but
That's a
I guess
drama. But you
I
can
think at the
write a
main question, and you can address this but like, what's wrong with, why is one more preferable to the other? I guess
Oh
is the
no, no. So
question.
okay, that the main question. The reason it's not that one is more preferable to the other. It's more of like, we're talking about society, right? And we're talking about how sometimes movies reflect, and movies do reflect something. I am saying that there should be kind of all of that movie, that preference of the man doing anyhow and the woman securing to something is most of the story that we only tell. I am saying that now we should try to move to the next level of like telling a story too, of like making it more like a balancing something, like different types of
So
stories,
and this
I have
is
diverse
a
type of
exactly
question
my
stories.
when
but this
Double
is
is done.
exactly my point. If we suddenly turn the tables and start telling stories about men trying to keep their families together while the woman is acting a complete fool, it it
Again,
won't
not only not again, remember, it's
okay.
not that you can tell that story, but also you're also not thinking about one other thing where both of them are working to do it.
If both
Where
of them are
both of
working
them,
to do it, then the
and
marriage will likely succeed unless there's external factors.
yes, but
And this is my
again,
point.
it's
Like
a journey.
that doesn't improve the storytelling.
It does, because
No, it
again, you're
doesn't
talking
because
about interpersonal human
All
dramas
right,
in your
okay.
human
All right,
journey,
okay,
and
okay.
that's
I
it's just a
understand. Hang on,
weakness of something for you.
No, I understand what both of you are saying, but like, it just seems like we're just talking about. And that was what I was trying to get with my question. Is like, it just seems like we can do A or we can do B, and it's, I
We
guess,
can
like,
do
maybe
all.
wait, hang on, wait. Maybe Ayinka's point is that we've done a lot of A. Maybe let's try B. But like, anyway, that's we're not, okay. Points made on that. But in talk about any bad films, let's use what do you call it? Let's use examples like, we're talking
Finding
about
hobby.
some of, oh Jesus, not you. You have Vanessa. You have spoken. You have spoken. You can barely do it. You have
It's not
retired.
my fault. It's not
Perfect
You have
my
marriage.
fault.
retired
Which
I
one do
know
you want to
that
responsibly.
do? Mr.
guilt.
and Mrs. is a great example. Or what example?
Of what? Of what? Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. is something like honestly, the first time I watched it, I really enjoyed it's the first time I saw it, and I enjoyed just the dynamic of a of I think one thing that interested me was the woman getting her own back, or quote unquote, by the way, because it's when you watch it with grown eyes, it's like, oh, that's really not that much, if I'm going to be honest. Oh, you wore sexy clothes around the house. Oh, you showed him. It just didn't feel. Yeah, it felt like something. Yeah, that maybe a man. And I'm not
Yep.
saying necessarily a man wrote, because hey, women be writing some of the most patriarchal weird things as well, because of, it is what it is. We're a product of the place where of our environment. But like it just felt to like, okay, yes, I'll take this as punishment if if I decide to be a cheater. Yeah, wear sexy clothes around, and was it like only like don't cook fresh food anymore, like leave microwavable foods in there? It's like that was, except if I'm misremembering this, that was what she did, right? Because like his thing was he wanted fresh food every day, and then she downgraded from fresh food to, oh, you have to microwave your own food. Oh, the horror. I mean,
And then
like,
she
yeah.
not just as a whole stopped cooking for him. Then his mother had to go and hire a housemaid that doesn't apparently know how to cook the food that she cooks for him. And then
Oh
the sad part
no.
is one of the food that was hungering him was Indomie. I actually wanted to slap that man, because why is Indomie hungering you?
And this is exactly the point I'm making. Like, so for me, the problem isn't about balance; it's about pushing the limit. You can have one character do it all the way, but are you willing to really push the boundaries of that thing? Are you willing to show just how far human beings will go to get, like, in order to evoke emotion in your audience? Because
Yes,
I
now.
think I'm not, and again, I'm not saying like you have to exaggerate or make it cheesy or anything. I'm just saying that if we're gonna have a film, whether it's the man that's trying to keep his family together or it's the woman that's trying to keep the family together, just how despicable is that spouse? Does it end at, oh, I go out, I come back late with lipstick on my collar, or like how far does it really go? And I think that's the thing. Like the intensity, and the intensity doesn't even have to be with like them shouting at each other or anything, but it's just little things. It's just like if we look at the trade, which isn't a romance film or anything, but just again in terms of like revealing character. Sean Farquhar's character right at the beginning takes his gum out of his mouth and puts it in the corner of the door sill. That tells us everything we need to know about this character. He's somebody who just, he seems like eager and everything and enthusiastic, but he still cuts corners like everybody else, and he pushes boundaries, constantly until even to a fault. And I feel like those are the kind of characters that we kind of need. Like if we're gonna have a cheating husband, is he going to like come back and give his wife gonorrhea? Is he going to like? Is she going? Are they going to like? Is she pregnant? Is the child now at risk? Though, like, I feel like if we can really like push and I'm not saying this is what we have to do, and not just for the sake of like suffering porn. I'm sorry, hard adversity porn, let's call it, and everything. But pushing boundaries is kind like, because audiences are very desensitized right now. So I think that even just to compel them and command their attention in a very artful and compelling way, you have to find just ways to push those boundaries. And if you're going to half-ass it and just leave it at, for example, she's getting her own back and therefore not making fresh food, then that, I'm sorry, but that's not it. Like she should freaking, like, while he's sleeping, like pour hot water on him or something. I don't know, like. And these, like that's kind of what I want to see. And maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but I don't know if anybody feels the same.
Um, then I would suggest you go watch some more older Nollywood movies, because um I have seen the pushing boundaries. They've literally brought other women in the home. The man has brought literally other women in the home and tell the woman to
Madam
untie the
Diarra.
man's pants and
Madam
do all those
Diarra.
things. All those things that you're looking for, we have done it and we have perfected it in the side of the man, and even in the side of the woman. But usually that just tells you, that's just to say, that is a coding to say that this woman is really, really bad. Or that is a coding to say this man is really, really bad. He
Mhm.
loses the good woman at the end. or
Yeah,
something
but
like some,
it isn't just enough
or
to
he
like.
changes, or he changes, or he loses. He has to lose something when the
I'm
guy
sorry, but
what
Onyeka, you just said something that it's really a trope that offends me with Nollywood. It's the good girl, good woman trope. It's like this whole thing of like what makes a good woman, and like he lost a good woman, and it's like what is the Nollywood definition of a good woman? And it just feeds more and more into like the
She claims
misogyny
that
of
she cooked.
Nigeria. Exactly. It really, it's like
There's the virtuous woman now. The virtuous
that's
Yeah,
it.
but
woman.
we don't. I don't. I mean,
Bollywood
maybe.
is
I'm
I
just
guess
trying
maybe
to
the way it
say,
has
yeah,
been done.
exactly. I'm just trying to say that type of pushing the boundary of like ridiculous, awful things that has been done in the home. That sort of like domestic drama, that aspect of like men mistreating women. Nollywood have been doing that since the 90s, and they've gotten it. Like they do it, like the first time I ever knew about marital rape was watching a Nollywood movie. Did not know about that before, but Nollywood taught me about like marital rape, about the man bringing something home, or the man giving the woman some STD. You will see the scene where the doctor is like, "Oh, you have STD," and then the woman looks at the man, and the man knows that it's because of the man that gives her STD. Those scenes are there in a lot of Nollywood movies. That boundary has been pushed already. The thing is that now I'm just saying that we need to diversify our storytelling. We need to
yes.
have more different types of stories. I'm not saying those old stories or those new stories should not be there because that's part of humanity. And yeah, those stories should be. You can do anything crazy in fiction. I actually want people to be doing crazy things in fiction and not do it in real life. Do it in fiction. It's
Okay.
okay. You
No,
want
no,
to you want to
100%.
do you want to write a romance between a serial killer and his victim. Do it in fiction. Don't do it in real life. I'm okay with it, but just diversifying that thing, diversifying those views. We live in an era of mass media, and mass media, for some reason now, has colored the way people of our age and younger think about things, think about life, and you have to pay attention to it. That's why I said diversify the storytelling,
All
diversify, write different stories, different ways, different deals, everything. You can do
right.
that. That's what I'm saying for.
Please, can we talk
All right.
about finding hobby?
Wait. Before we talk about, I want to ask other other people who haven't had a word in whether they have. We can do. I think we can do two more movies and then we'll call it an evening. We're used to 2 hours now. You can't give us 2 hours live and now be going back to 3 hours. All right. Anybody else with any other movie that they think either like is overrated or
Yeah, I
just
used to two
they don't
hours.
like
We
it?
don't even discuss else. That's why I used to 2 hours
Can you
now.
let Feisty? Can you let Feisty?
So now we're having
Thank
fun,
you.
Mr. C. Go away.
Okay, my own trope that I want to talk about is before Valentine's, the trope about the man begging the woman endlessly before she finally gives in. I think we've seen movies like that, especially in old Nollywood. I think some people refer to that with the whole thing of, a man really on being on your case. Even in that Richard Dominic film that was referenced, I remember that film a lot as well because the man came out of nowhere and tried to take over her life and all of that. And I felt like the same thing with Max before Valentine's introduced that trope to me because it just seems very tedious to have that as a trope for love and romance. I think that gives the wrong impression about the whole thing of, okay, if a man keeps begging you for attention, you have to give it to him. And I feel like it takes the whole autonomy away from a woman that she has choices outside of who is presenting themselves as an option, and it's not that the storyline shouldn't be for romance or the ideal love story that, oh, a man was looking for me for so long and then finally I realized that, oh yeah, he's the person that I want to be with, maybe because he saved my life or something. I mean, no, so that was that's one trope that I don't like. Another film that I wanted to talk about was Hey You, because whatever the trope is, I feel like whatever.
Hey, I wanted to talk about it too.
Okay. So from my own perspective, I just felt like it was very violating, and I feel like connection or love story based on violation shouldn't be a love story at all. I feel like the way, the whole story ran with the man watching her from behind, knowing her secret identity, befriending the identity that she presented to society, and then, sort of having some form of bloodlines between both. It seemed very, with the whole rapist, almost rape with the friend or the colleague. The language was very derogatory as well, was very misogynistic, and we know that women were involved in the writing and the directing. So I felt like the narrative for love and romance, because me, I'll tell you, I don't really know much about romance. So, but I know what it isn't, and I felt like these two tropes are two things that shouldn't be portrayed as an ideal love story when talking about a romantic film. And I feel like with Nollywood as well, they they've somehow along the way they lost that old Nollywood charm about love stories. Now it's just shallow. They don't have the burn, they don't have the longing, they don't have the desire, they don't have that build up to when they finally kiss or when they finally express their feelings to each other. They don't even have that thing of when they finally are intimate physically, where you're like, oh yes, this is a great scene. No, they don't have it, and I feel like that's something that's really lacking, because I think they've lost the root of a love story. Yes, it is in storytelling. Yes, it is in chemistry and connection, but it's also with heart. You can't just write about a love story if you're not writing it from a place of love as well. So yes, those are my stuff. Thank you.
Thanks.
Please, can I continue? I want to say something, but I hear you.
Go ahead.
Don't worry, I'm not going to go on like Van. So the thing with Hey You is that first, so this goes to story script writers or filmmakers. I think you should have the trope you want to talk about before you say, "Oh, look, I want to write about a stripper that falls in love." Fantastic! Clap for yourself. You've succeeded. That's the first trope. What do you want it to be? I feel like it should be properly constructed in storytelling rather than, "Oh, I think I want to wow my audience." And this is bad because it's coming from a Gen Xer who, sorry, I don't know if he's a Gen X and a millennial, but anyways, some people sat together and thought Hey You was a good idea, and they tried to market it as something that it wasn't, and it was bad, right? Because I'm like, okay, I'm going in there, and I said, what am I going to expect? So first, we stole Pretty Woman's trope. I don't know what they were going for there. I don't think they actually stole it. They picked things and they stole tropes and they threw it in and then came up with something that does not make sense, because nothing makes sense in Hey You. Not the meet cute, not the actual romance, not the conflicts that came up in the 1 hour mark. At 1 hour, we saw that she had a fiance or something. Kept at 1 hour mark, somebody appeared and it was supposed to be in the backstory, and then somebody assaulted her. It was the best friend of her boyfriend, and how did that happen? And that was just a scene that was stolen from Pretty Woman. Somebody sat down and said, "Oh, I'm going to steal this particular scene from Pretty Woman and I'll put it into Hey You," without setting it up. We didn't see how that happened. We don't know if he has always stalked her. We don't know if he has always been obsessed with her. We don't know if he hated her for dating his friend. We just found out that he was a stalker. And then this movie now ended with the guy was like, "Oh, you're fired." This guy was on live. There was a live stream showing this guy assaulting somebody. Excuse you, you didn't report him to the police. Nothing happened. You didn't even beat him to an inch of his life, collect blood from his mouth. You went to go and report him to your guy. It was such a horribly done job. And but they gave us all the tropes, so they even put rain. They were kissing siren now, Abby. They even put all of those things
Yes.
in there.
Rain
It's so
at the end.
stupid. So here is the thing: when you don't watch romance, you don't read romance, you don't know. Romance is actually really hard, because at this point it shows that it is hard. At first, I used to think it should be a walk in the park, but now it is it's hard, because we've been struggling in Nollywood to get it. We're not getting it. Even our favorite web series that we watch, we're just watching them because they just put fine faces together, like Timino and Amino. Outside of that, there's nothing that is romancing about this thing if you really look at it, right? Because I watched I'm going to keep talking about it. Beyond the Veil, it's sort of slow, but it's on Prime. But there's a particular love story in there between two characters, Kasim and Zizi. It was the best done romance that I've seen in Nollywood in the past decade. Like, and I'm not joking. We see it up, and I was like, are you for real? Somebody wrote this in, and I'm seeing, and I'm not reading it in a book, and it's not from an Oyibo movie. And this is how bad that we've been writing. And that's why Hey You is the worst movie on earth right now as we are speaking. Even as I'm talking to you, it's so bad. Nothing was erotic about it. Nothing was sexy about it. It was just bad. You feel nothing. It's just colors and colors and clear picture. So anyways, I want to roast AU more than this, but I'm saying that don't let me take other people's spaces. Others wants to say something.
All right, that's what's up. I
Anyway,
think this
all
might
the
be.
films from last month, I think, can successfully make it to this list of the bad, and we can keep it at that. Here, Love Lies, the one with the two best friends, because what was that? So Here, Love Lies, which starts out as romance and then ends as thriller, because why not? Is I don't even understand that film. And then what was the
It
other
is a
one?
romantic thriller.
Which one was
Very
that?
entertaining.
It is
Romantic
a
thriller.
romantic thriller.
Thank you, Oika.
By the way, Pretty Woman was supposed to be a romantic thriller, but Disney wanted to make more money, so they made it into fairy tale.
Sometimes Disney makes good choices. Look at that.
Yeah, so Beyond Love, what was the thing called? What was the other one with the two friends?
Before Valentine's.
I'm not talking about Before Valentine's.
It's Sunday Affair.
Sunday. Oh
It's
my
Sunday
God.
Affair.
Finding Sunday. Like literally every single movie that came out in February should be on this list right now, because what was that? Like, this is the state of love in Nollywood, where in February, the amount of love, they could not successfully release one single actor love film. How insane is that?
Yeah, that's a very interesting few movies we go for the month of love. Yeah, I'm not sure Netflix or maybe the selection doesn't understand what like love films are. Like you can have love in films, don't mean they're love like Valentine love films, like Blue Valentine is a love film. Well, it's not a love film, it's a film where there are people who love each other and stuff, but like yes, if bad things are happening to people who are in love and it's horrible and sad, or just it's not a Valentine movie. Valentine movie is different from there's love inside. Anyway, but yeah, a shout out to back in those days where it was just easy to tell Nollywood love movies because they had love in the title. But yeah, we have passed that side now.
But Here Love Lives just started as romance though. But even its romance part, like even if you separate Here Love Lies into two parts, and you move the thriller to the second end, which is what it was really. Like one half is romance and then one half like we literally go from romance and then she flies to America and they're playing haunting music. So it's like one half. But even if we examine the first half of the romance, it is still unhinged. The state of romance in Nollywood is sad. It is unfortunate. Like I don't even like romance. I'm very anti-romance in general. But like, how can you not convince me that two people are actually in love with each other? Like, and it's not even, sometimes it's not even just the characters who are supposed to be in love with each other. Like, you cannot show any love between family, love between friends, like any kind of love. Like, show me any kind of romance where two people fall in love with each other, either romantically, platonically, whatever love wants to happen, and like just conquer some shit and either separate at the end or are happy. Like, why is that so hard?
All right. Okay, let's round up with we'll do sort of go around and like do your recommends to, hey, these couple of movies I think you should romantic movies I think you should watch, and maybe one you should stay away from.
Gotta be Nollywood? Does it have to be Nollywood?
Yes, Nollywood, yes. Nollywood. All right. I was going to start with Otas, you want to start first? Recommends ones you recommend and maybe one you should stay away from.
One I recommend. I think Sobeys Mystic. It might not be every cups of tea, but I think most people haven't watched it, so it might be something new. The storyline is very new. One you should stay away from, bruh. Namaste Wahala, just because like spite. So like, yeah.
Yeah, obviously you can see Otas doesn't have love in her heart, and so I wouldn't really take those ones too hard. All right, Elizabeth, a movie you recommend people watch and one they should stay away from.
Recommend to watch. So I'll pick something that I like recently. Wow, that is not on Iroko. So that is on Iroko. I would say Ovi's voice. I will always go for Ovi's voice. Oh wow, I have a list, guys. On Iroko, I'll also say White Lies. It's White Lies, that's the title. Then past decade-ish, I would say The Meeting. So it's not exactly primary romance, but it's got secondary romance, right? I liked the romance in there. I like how it was depicted and how it's developed. What you should stay away, always stay away from Hey You, always, forever. Stay away from the something arrangements. Is that what's that Naz Onuzo's movie?
Perfect arrangement.
Yeah. Perfect arrangement. Please stay away from it, guys. It's dangerous. So that's that for me.
All right, thanks. Vanessa.
Hi y'all. I've calmed down now. Can Billy gets me in my feelings, but things I recommend. Yes, Ovi's voice is honestly. I feel like I said earlier in the space, everything on Iroko that's Biodun Stevens that starts with somebody's name. Just watch it. If it's still on Iroko, Ehis Bitters, Tiwa's Baggage, Ovi's Voice, all the stuff that starts with someone's name, just go and watch it. And it's by Biodun Steven. Just go and watch it. Um, what else do I recommend? Ooh, Northeast, because it's one of the few times that Inidima Okoje was actually acting. And OC Ikeje is great in it as well. So watch Northeast. It's also on Iroko, guys. What else? What else? What else? Ooh, Kunle Remy, because Kunle Remy is our romance guy. There's a Kunle Remy film that's on YouTube. For whatever reason, I can't remember the name. It's recent. It's in the past couple of weeks. So you should. I genuinely just. I don't know if it's so much the story as it is just watching Kunle Remy in his element. Like I genuinely believe that if Kunle Remy is giving like a very well written romance film, all of us will fall in love. Um what else do I recommend for love love? I hate to say it, guys, but if you guys don't want high stakes, if you don't want to put your heart into something, and if you don't care about standards and you just want to watch something that will give you small butterflies and you are ready to ignore flaws, YouTube. Nollywood, Uche Mbunabo TV, who again? Manzini.
Which kind of recommendation is this that is
I
without
mean,
Yeah,
advertisement?
TV, guys.
just
Oak TV, Oakville TV.
yes, go to YouTube. YouTube is free and it's available for everybody.
I say
Honestly,
name one
honestly,
recommendation and one this thing you should stay away. Yeah, I've got to name
keep quiet.
7, and then
Then
you're
the
not
one that you
entering
should
one
stay
to
away, I
put
mean, it's
caveats.
very obvious. Kambili, 30, the whole 30 years. The whole 30 years of the entire film, people should not watch it. Another film that I don't recommend is Finding Hobby Part 1, Part 2. I don't even know if there's Part 3, but nobody should watch that Finding Hobby. Yeah, I care
All
about
right.
you. I'm trying to help your life. Don't watch Kambili.
Mrs. C, didn't you like finding out? All right, Damola, Damola, please tell us a Nollywood movie, romantic movie you like, and one you reckon we should
All,
stay
all,
away from.
all the ones I like or recommend, I think everybody has seen, to be honest. If you want something old, just aspects of romance, but not exactly romance, watch Hostages, Mortal Inheritance. If you want something a little more recent, I mean, I'm gonna definitely take the recommendation of going on Iroko to watch Bearded Stevens films. I don't think I've seen enough of them, and I really loved Picture Perfect. Like I said, it's one of the few films that really made me want to cry at the end. Um, so I would recommend that. And I don't really want to go into like films that I that I haven't. The thing is that the films that I would say stay away from, I won't say stay away from anything because I just tend to put them on, and if I don't like them, I switch them off. So I haven't seen the whole film, so I can't tell you like, oh, stay away from this film, stay away from that film. But yeah, that's it for me. I'm not. I'm more of a. I'm gaining more from this than I'm giving. Sorry.
All right, thanks, Amala. Anka, please tell us movie you recommend, one we should stay away from. Hang on. Anka, are you there?
Oh, me? Yeah. Sorry. So I'm gonna go classic. Everybody says Motor Heritage Worlds Apart. Um, also, Letters to a Stranger. Letters to a Stranger is actually not misogynist. Everybody, it's a it's a romance movie that centers a woman, and the guys are cool. It's awesome. Um, yeah. If you want drama, romance drama, try to click in, put in. I know it's going to take 13 hours, but watch classic Nollywood. It gives you a lot of romance drama. What to stay away from? I actually don't tell you to stay away from anything. If you watch it and you don't like it within the first 5 or 20 minutes, I say give it 20 minutes. Give it 20 minutes. Click away from it. If you like it, you like it. Whatever. Romance is different for everybody. Some people like fall in love with serial killers and then want to be with the serial killers, You can get that fantasy in fiction. Please don't do it in real life. It's insane. But romance is different for everybody. I can't tell you what you like and what you would like. I'm done.
Okay. No one to stay away from. Anyway, Fi, do you want to tell us romance movie to love, look out for, and want to stay away from?
Okay, so the ones to look out for, the first one I would say is Critical Decision with RMD and Genevieve and Mike and Stephanie. It's on YouTube. Look out for it because it's interesting, and I definitely believe that Old Nollywood has more of that romance feel that we're looking for and that love element. The second one for me will be Bursting Out, Genevieve and Majid. Look out for that. It's on YouTube as well. What I would say that you should stay away from is Hey You for sure. Hey You for sure. And overall, I would say once again, yes, Iroko TV has so many good ones. The ones the ladies mentioned with the names, I've watched them all, and they're really good. So I recommend them as well. Well, Old Nollywood for sure, for all these romance tropes that most, at least, have some good love stories there to check out. Thank you.
All right, thanks very much. Shout out to Beard and Steven, romance movies, apparently the ones with the names. All right, yeah, Missy, do you want to tell us some of the movies?
Okay, for my recommendations, I would say Better Life and The Grail. Yeah, pretty much anything Beard and Steven has done. And then for things you should stay away from, if you haven't seen these movies, God has blessed you. Dinner at My Place is a no. Namaste Wahala, a Sunday Affair, and definitely Hear You. Hear You has to be there. But anything with Timini and Efe or Sophie, if there are other movies, just stay away from it. That's it.
Wow. All right. Anybody who says stay away from Namaste Wahala, never believe them. All right. Mrs.
You
C.
people are offending me with this Namaste Wahala thing.
Come on,
Offended for life. I feel like that.
What did you know? What do you know? Mrs. C.
I would recommend mine. Ignore 20, the last 20 minutes. I need to rewatch that. Actually, I did really enjoy it. The Grill as well. Also ignore the ending. Just end it before the last 10 minutes.
There's a trend here.
There's a trend here. We don't used to land film. But yes, I thought they were both giving romance. What to avoid? Finding Hobby 1 and 2. Burn It with Fire.
Wow.
burn with fire.
What a weird thing to say about your favorite movie. Right. So my the one I'd recommend is I guess it is mine, The Greer, and Picture Perfect. Picture Perfect for me is really up there for me. And one to stay away from. Obviously, Namaste Wala goes without saying. But I'm not even going to mention it. It just goes without saying. Then the one you stay away from is
anything you recommend.
I mean, most Nollywood films you should stay away from, if I'm going to be honest. But I did Nollywood film club, so I don't know. I don't know. There are a lot of the new ones the new Nollywood romance. Until somebody recommends it to you, please stay away from them. That's sort of where I'm on that. But wow, what a discussion!
This is so much fun.
It seems like a lot of people enjoyed
I hope
this.
you do realize that somebody would definitely recommend a new Nollywood movie to somebody.
I mean, Breaded Life, The Greer. There's exceptions for people on here.
Somebody will recommend AU to somebody. Somebody likes it.
Somebody is okay. That's not good to
it's not
ancestral insults. I was about to do ancestral insults, but there's no need for that. Okay, but next week we are doing our first not completely Nollywood film, and there is a Nollywood part of the anthology series from it's a Netflix original being dropped by South Africa. I think it's next week. That should be a very fun conversation. We'll do our rankings of which of the short films we like. Hopefully Nigerian is on number one, but there's strong competitors on there. Lukman's film is on there, so we know at least that's going to have competent cinematography in there. But I'm really anticipating this film. I can't remember the name of this thing off the top of my head, but I'll definitely post it anyway. But thanks again for everyone who's joined the discussion. We'll see you guys next Sunday.
All right, thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye everybody.
Thanks for listening to the episode. If you enjoyed listening and would like to join live, just follow us on Twitter at Iroko Critic and join us every Sunday 6 p.m. West African time on our spaces.